Hello, Nick family. Welcome to my channel, Dope Soul Sports Talk, a member of the NBK network. Today, I am joined by a few of my favorite content creators, and we're here to talk about, how their content rivals that, in my opinion, well, whether or not their content rivals that of the national mainstream media like ESPN or even the local TV and print media. In my opinion, it does because it's more thorough, it's more nuanced, and of course, it has the highest level of fan engagement. Just to be clear, I'm not here to disparage or dump on the national media. I'm basically here to shine a light on these content creators, their motivation for starting their channel, how they stay motivated, and their vision for their channel going forward. A special shout out to all of the content creators on YouTube and other social media platforms. Time nor space permits me or allows me to mention you all by name, but I see you, I listen to you, and I appreciate you. And with that, let me welcome in this esteemed panel right here. I'm joined by Hartwell of For the Love of the Game, Eru from Die Hard, Knicks Podcast, Uncle Freezy from BLORANGE Tears, Ron from Still Knick Fans, and of course, Simeon Russell, the creator of Nothing But Knicks, where I got my start and where I continue to be a part, forever grateful. And Tony Crow from Knicks and Bruises will be joining us a bit later. I lost my notes, but I was able to get through the introduction off the dome. So, how's everybody doing? I appreciate you guys joining me. You could be anywhere. You did not have to accept the invitation, so I don't take that for granted. How you doing today?
Doing good.
Doing great. Happy to be here.
All right.
Fantastic.
Okay. All right. So I want to talk a little bit about the national and local media coverage of the Knicks. But first, I want to start with each of you kind of introducing yourself, your channel, and the motivation for starting your channel. Sam, I'm going to let you go first.
Okay. I appreciate that. Really, I actually started Nothing But Knicks. I don't know. I mean, it started off as a blog. I was blogging, right? And the blog wasn't really about updating you on everything that went on with the New York Knicks. It was more about, telling stories and my experience of being a Knicks fan, right? So it was like, how it helped me build a relationship with my son, or stories of me going to a game with my son or watching a game with my son or my daughter or my wife or, however. So it was more geared towards that at the time. And I got a chance to go to media day, and do some of those things. But I tried to get, most of my traffic came from Twitter at the time. And I tried to get, a little blue check. And when I tried to get the blue check, it deleted my account. Right. I called up Twitter. I was like, yo, what's going on? Like they were having all kinds of trouble with the blue checks back then. And I was like, what's going on? They said, well, we don't have any history of your account. I said, oh man. So I had to start over. Right. And then I wasn't getting the same traffic to my blog. So I said, well, let me try this YouTube thing. Right. And at the time, I didn't see anybody on YouTube that was really doing any kind of live content. And I wasn't doing live content at the time either. I started doing pre-recorded shows, but it was taking too long to get the shows out. Right. After the game, I was like, yo, by the time I get my show edited and out, I got to get ready for the next game. So one night I was on travel. And I said, let me just try to do this thing live after the game. And I went on and I had like 70 people on and I was pumped. I was like, oh my goodness, I had 70 people on. And then, so when I got home off travel, I did it, I think twice while I was on travel. Then when I got home, I said, well, let me see how I can try to make it look as though it's edited, but still doing it live. Right. And, I was working out my sound. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning. I said, you know what? Nobody's going to be on. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. Let me just go live so I can test it. Little did I know, I got like 100 people on. I was like, yo, I'm just testing the sound. And, the people, I'm pretty sure there's probably some people that that's in the chat that remember this time. Now I don't know about here, but that normally join the chat, and they helped me test out the sound and this and that. And at that point, I was like, yo, I knew that we could really build a community. You know what I'm saying? Because people were so dedicated. And then so I just continued to go live and try to build a community around going live. You know what I mean? So like my motivation didn't start from like I seen some kind of market there. It was really me just wanting to talk about the Knicks, and moving from New York to DC. I started off listening to Anthony MSG. He was like the only podcast I think around. I was listening to him, and but there's Knicks fans here, but I didn't know, who was what because I'm new here. So when I started blogging and then started really going live, it was really me searching for a group of people to be able to talk about the Knicks with.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then it just continued to grow into a community. And now I'm continuously searching for ways to build the community and keep it a community. You know what I mean? And once I really started going, then I started to build a vision. Once it started happening, and my vision has always been for the fans to be the authority, right? People used to always say, "Hey, such and such had this person on and that person on, this reporter, that reporter," and I was always like, "That's cool," but my purpose is for the fans to be the authority here. You know what I'm saying? For the fans to speak. So I've always shied away against trying to get too many reporters on, and being that type of an outlet because I wanted to stay a fan community, and not turn into ESPN. You know what I mean? I wanted to stay, fan based media. So I try to keep it there. And then, of course, like, I started to see where there could be a part of my vision was to branch out to doing live events. Again, that's keeping the community together. And then I always felt like, who wants to just keep hearing me talk about the Knicks all the time? So once I started going live and I realized we could develop a community, that's when I started thinking I want to have other people on my channel that can have their own shows and their own voice. You know what I'm saying? Not just my voice and what I think, but everybody, other people can have their voice. So, that's where how I try to build it. And continuing to keep that same vision with it just being fan-based media and building that community.
Well, this show came out of that, so you're doing a good job. We're gonna go around. Freezy, Hart, Will, Eru, Ron. Just how long ago was that?
Let me see. The blog started in 2000. I started doing the blog in like 2013 or 14, and I started going on YouTube in 2017. I had the channel since like 2015 or 16, but I never did anything on it. 2017 was when I did my first video. It was a Carmelo Anthony highlight video. I did it to the Nas Ether, to the song Ether. It was all about Melo coming back.
Of course you did.
Yeah, it was about Melo coming back to Ether the league. That's what it was about.
Okay, all right.
That's dope.
Big Freezy.
So first, let me say it's an honor for just the invite alone. I appreciate you inviting me. Right, I feel honored in that. Right. Secondly, how we got started, it was weird, man, because it started with a relationship between Sim and I, like it was the most like random and organic thing you ever saw in your life, because what happened was I was going through a personal tragedy. Like my little brother, he was like 4 or 5 years younger than me. He was passing away at the time, and we didn't know. We were just like, man, just hanging there. So I was at the hospital about 20 hours a day, sitting in the room with him, scrolling through my phone, checking for stuff. So I Googled Knicks, right? And nothing came up. So I went to YouTube, and then I saw Sim. Like, what is this? I couldn't figure out what it was because I saw boxes all over the place and people talking. And then like this thing on the side had a whole bunch of comments just racing up and down the screen. And I was like, what is this? And so it had became my comfort for a while as I was, working through this weird space of watching somebody you grew up with fight for his life, knowing that he's not going to win, us knowing he not going to win, but just trying to cherish these moments together. You know what I'm saying? Just be there. Like when he look over and see me, it's like, you know what? I can hold on for a little bit longer. And so I heard, I think it might have been a night where it was like Guillermo, Isaiah, who's Mark, and something, and they were saying like the most ridiculous stuff you ever heard in your life. So I was like, yo, can I jump on and just like come on here and just say something to these dudes? And Sim was like, come on. And I was the dude, for those that don't know, I was the dude, Big Freezy, that was always in the dark, right? And I was in the dark, like in my truck. It was not because I wanted to hide who I was. It was, man, I was going through some stuff, man. I was trying to hold back tears, trying to get some type of solace. You know what I'm saying? Trying to get a mental and emotional break from all the stuff that I was going through. And people was like, yo, why this dude always hiding his face? And I'm like, man, I'm not really hot, And so I jumped on, and whose Mark went across my head without even knowing my name. Right? I didn't even get a chance to say nothing. Whose Mark went off. I think I said something about some dude named Porzingis or something. And whose Mark went off. And then another dude named Guillermo, who was always right. Y'all know Guillermo, bro. Y'all know Legion of the Knicks, bro. No matter what topic it is, Legion of the Knicks is absolutely right 100% of the time, bro. It don't matter what the topic is. And so I jumped in with them dudes. And I was like, the whole thing kind of was my escape for a few moments. But Sim kind of helped me feel like I belonged to something that I wasn't looking for. I wasn't looking to belong to nothing.
Right.
I just needed an escape for a few minutes, you know what I'm saying? And then, go back upstairs and hang out with my little brother. Well, come to find out, nothing but Knicks had became a mainstay in my heart, right? And then at the same time, that energy that when we was putting into my little brother, he wound up surviving. Because he had like a 1% chance of surviving, and he did it.
Wow.
And he did it, right? He survived, right? And so I was like, yo, I'm jumping on this thing, man, with Sim. So I started jumping on with Sim, but then like I did that with Sim for like a couple years, like nothing but Knicks in the front stoop. No matter what time it went on, I was there. I didn't care what I was doing. I dropped everything because I was like, yo, this brother building something, and I just want to do my part. Because when I was struggling through something, he just offered a place for me to have solace, right? And I appreciate it. So those are the things that I can't, like, I got fancy cars, I got houses and all that stuff, right? But the thing that Sim offered me, I can't buy stuff like that. So I was like, yo, if that dude need me for something, I'll be there. And what happened was my brother eventually passed away like 2 years later, right? He passed away. Like we had a talk. I was watching Nothing But Knicks. We had a talk. He was talking about the upper room. I was like, bro, don't be talking about the upper room, man. But he knew he was ready. He knew it was time, and he was ready. I'm talking to him. We got Nothing But Knicks on the big TV in the living room because I was in. You know how you there with your people? You in the recliner. They in that hospital bed. Y'all know the hospital bed I'm talking about, the one
Right.
with the. So we had that in the living room because at that time he was paralyzed, so he couldn't move. He was like, man, don't worry about me, man. If you got some stuff that you want to do, man, go ahead and do your thing. And right, he said that, man. And like that Friday after we had that talk, he passed away. And I was trying to come on Sim's joint, and I couldn't because I couldn't bring myself to like talk to people without being in a rage over something misguided, like in a rage because I watched my little brother pass away, and they think I would be in a rage because of Tim Hardaway Jr. Right. So what I did was I talked to Sim about doing, the Vibes and Stuff channel that I do every morning, the show. Talk to Sim about Vibes and Stuff first, and then BLORANGE Tears second. And what I didn't realize at the time was there are a lot of good people out here that want good content. They don't expect for you to be a star right? They just expect for you to be A, consistent, and B, yourself.
Right.
And so those are the two things I can be. I'm great at being myself because I can't be nobody else. And I'm great at being consistent. Hard will attest to that because Hard will told me one day, bro, you on again? Yes. Right. And without being long-winded, what I would say to it to everybody watching this is how I got this starting this thing is a loyalty to people that had an unblinded loyalty to me for no other reason but I was Uncle Freezy. They had a loyalty to me. They were like, yo, you Uncle Freezy, we're gonna show up regardless. And I was like, how y'all gonna just show up regardless? And then I thought back to how Sim gave me that feeling of this certain thing. And I was loyal to him and his movement without him asking for nothing. Like I don't think I ever I don't think he ever asked me for anything. Like nothing. Like no nothing in return. Right? He just now the thing he did ask me about was make sure your stuff is right, make sure your microphone right, your lighting right, your audio. I'm okay, man. Okay, dog. You say that all the time. All right. I mean, all right. So he does ask you to be squared away, but you know why that is.
No doubt.
Right. And so what I owe to the Knicks community, and what I'm looking to bring to people in general is a sense of belonging, a sense of respect, and a sense of truth. And sure, we go about it on BLORANGE Tears. We go about that the Jerry Springer way and not the Oprah way. But we deliver those things like Ricky Lake and Jerry Springer. But you get it. You know, everything you get is not going to be the main course. Sometimes you got to have fast food, and that's what we are. So I'm sorry, Queen. I'm sorry about being long-winded, but Dag, you asked a hard question though.
Well, all right. I should have said a quick introduction because we got a lot to get to.
Mine ain't that long. I'm gonna go. Want me to go next? I'll go real quick.
Well, yeah. You up?
All right. From For the Love of the Game with the number 4, my co-host Worldwide L. Check us out if you don't know about our show.
The links to all the shows are in the description.
I'll be checking y'all out. I just haven't commented yet, but I'll be going. I was about to. You guys dropped the link in the chat a lot. I was about to just pop up one time, but I was like, wow, let me just check out.
You're welcome at any time, man. And I also wanted to say, it's a pleasure, and I appreciate you for inviting me here to tell my story about what got me into this. You know, I grew up in New York City in Far Rockaway, Queens, playing ball in New York all my life. I was on another show called Knicks Radio with another guy from Queens. He's on the network called Bars and Hoops. I had first started out with him. I was working with him in the radio studio one day, and he was saying he was doing the show. And I was like, I wanted to do that, man. Let me try it out with you. And I started going on with him every night, and I was doing pretty well. And it didn't work out between, that situation with me and him. So I just fell back for a little while. I had an idea to start a show called The Hardcast. So one day I got a phone call from my bro, Worldwide L, who grew up with me in the 40s projects in Far Rockaway. He was like, yo, I want you to come on the show with me. You like my secret weapon. You know what I'm saying? Pull up. So ever since then, everything else was history. You know what I mean? And I tell L to this day that, if he didn't introduce me to some of these people like Freezy and everything Freezy was saying about Sim, he kind of showed me the same love. And it just made me think about that when I came in, and he gave me confidence that, you're good at what you do, always be yourself and keep working. You know what I mean? He welcomed me on his panel for other people to see me. He never asked me for anything. He let me support my channel. So I just felt like by him talking about what Sim did for him, he turned around and did the same thing for me and didn't ask me for anything. You know what I'm saying? And I call him, we built a relationship over like the same similar situation. And I just feel like I met Ron, meet a lot of people here. And I feel like it's priceless what we got. It's more of a Knick family than I ever could imagine. You know what I mean? And to know about basketball as much as I do, and to be able to share it and learn at the same time and show love to people and meet as much people as I met, it's just a blessing. You know what I mean? To me, because I love basketball. So just to be able to talk it all day with a bunch of people, whether we arguing or not, we still got love for each other. That's priceless. From the chat to the panels, you know what I'm saying? So it's all fun, and it's a blessing in disguise, man. Like I said, I'm just happy to be here, and that's most of my story. You know, my name is Jihad, out of Queens, Far Rock. You know, that's what they know me as growing up as. If you may have heard of me playing ball or anything like that. And Hard Will is a brand that I have. I'm a basketball trainer and a coach. I'm in Jersey now. I got 2 teams. I train kids. I got a 10th grade team and an 8th grade team. So I'm also giving back to young brothers trying to grow up and do the right thing and not think it's all about doing the wrong thing. Because while we coaching, like Sim could tell you, we talking to kids for their parents. We telling them stay out of trouble. We telling them a whole lot of stuff. So, you know, I got tons of guard kids. So, but that's part of my story right there in a nutshell. If y'all want to know anything about Hardwell.
There you go. There you go. Eru.
Hey, what's up, guys? Yo, Hard Will, you mentioned bars and hoops, man. I've been trying to get on that show for the longest time, man. They got like a radio show, call-in show, right?
Yeah, that's my man Stills the Great. He from Jamaica, Queens. He started with Knicks Radio, but they more now doing that bars and hoops. Yeah, I can hook you up with them. I connect you with them.
Okay, because those guys are MTA guys, right?
Yeah, actually, Stills work for 1199. His man works for MTA that hosts the show with him. Because we from 1199 on that side, as far as working wise too. But yeah, his man works for MTA. But I definitely plugged you with them. I got the info.
All right, cool, man. Cool. It's a small world, you know what I'm saying? That
Exactly.
Knicks fans, we always gonna find each other. That's the main thing, to segue to what I'm saying. You know, I want to say relatability, man. That's the main reason why I'm doing this thing. Because I mean, you know, I used to be heavy into the message boards and stuff. You know, when I'm at work, I can't really, you know, listen to anything because I'm working. I have to be vigilant. I have to be able to hear and see what I'm doing. So every once in a while, I pull out my phone and get on the message board and I start talking my stuff. Whatever, but you know, guys in there, I was getting arguments with people. They would ban me all the time and stuff. So I really couldn't. People weren't really getting the message through text. So I figured that there's got to be a different way, man. So I said, "Oh, Sports Talk Radio. I forgot about Sports Talk Radio. Let me see what they're talking about." So now they on what's the name? Kiss FM. Now, you know, I say, what are they doing on Kiss FM? What happened to Kiss FM? You know, so anyway, I found my way to Michael K. Right, so I'm listening to Michael K. You know, I was getting into it, not really for him. Really for the other guys they had on the show. So anyway, I'm just listening to them. So anyway, the Colin Kaepernick thing happened, right? So that's a big topic of conversation. So anyway, he was just mouthing off and going crazy, but he was just speaking from a place where I just didn't, I just could not relate to him at all, you know. And then what pissed me off about him is that, you know, he just he was just coming from a place where I'm not from it. Then he actually added me on Twitter because I you know I had no outlet, so I went on Twitter and I added him. I said something. So then he goes on air, calls me out by name, you know, and then proceeds to blast me all over the thing. I'm like, yo, how dare he do that? Because I can't respond back, and I'm calling the show, and the guy, the producer, telling me, "Nah, we can't let you on." I'm like, really? So I was like so mad. But you know, thank God the other guy that was on there, he was able to defend me because he had the same views as me. But anyway, I was pissed. I turned it off. I said, "Yo, I would never turn that on ever again to give them my time of day." So I said, "You know what? I gotta figure this out because I have this sickness in me that needs to talk Knicks. I need to talk Knicks. You know, I have to get it out. You know, so I know we all can relate to that." So anyway, I turned to like audio podcasts at first. So at first, you know, I'm listening to audio podcast, same thing. They all trying to be Michael K. They trying to be this guy. They trying to be that guy. They all sound the same. And these are all Knicks podcasts. They don't look like me. They don't sound like me. You know, so I said, yo, I got to do this. Somebody out there got to relate to, got to be able to, they must be thinking the same thing I'm thinking. They're looking for somebody to relate to. You know, so I started doing the audio stuff. So I messed around with that, talking to myself in closets and in my car and in the bathroom and all kind of stuff. You know, but people were hitting me up, emailing me and stuff and whatever, telling me that, oh, yo, I like your show, this, that, and the other. You should talk about this. You should talk about that. You know, so anyway, doing that. So just one day on YouTube, I went on YouTube to see, I was looking for somebody on the audio. I want to see, because they mentioned that they had shows on YouTube. So I was okay, let me check out YouTube. So when I went on YouTube, I realized that there's more of us out there. I was like, wow. So, you know, I saw a couple other guys, but what drew me to the this whole YouTube stuff is my man right there, Sim. You know, so I watched him, and I just like I instantly related to him. You know, so that was something I wanted to be a part of, man. So I kind of just watching, but I didn't really get the whole OBS stuff. You know, I was looking at the stuff, so I said, man, whatever, that's not for me. So I used to pop in Sim show just to watch sometimes. But one day one of my boys, he was trying to start another show. So he decided to, you know, he was trying to figure it out. So I said, let me hit up Sim to see if Sim is gonna write me back. He probably not gonna hit me back. yo, Sim hit me back like almost instantly. Like, and then he gave me this big manifesto about like, oh, you need to get this camera, you need to get this mic, you need to do this, you don't have to spend all that money. And he's giving me the big rundown of how to start my show. Oh, download this program and get this. And I was reading it, and I like almost like I literally like I was in like a heap of emotions. All right, so anyway, another part. This is, you know, we're podcasters, so that we talk. You know what I'm saying? So this is part 2 to my thing. Same thing with the what Freezy was talking about with the tragedy. You know, I almost died in 2018 for pneumonia. I went to the hospital twice. I was in there for 9 days. They didn't know what was wrong with me. And the first time I went in there, I almost passed away. You know, they actually had to bring me back. Wow. So throughout 2018, that's what kind of like sparked this whole podcast thing. And then I think that year 2018 is when I decided to do I think it was 2018 to 2019. I just started to do the you know, the video stuff just to make good on it, because I, you know, like I didn't want to leave this earth, you know, and not do what I always wanted to do. I want to talk Knicks. I've been searching for it for the longest time. So I was like, what is preventing me from doing it? So I just pulled the scab off and I just started going crazy. Started my own channel, went and got merch, and I got t-shirts. I had merch and t-shirts and stuff like that before I even started the freaking YouTube channel, you know. So, you know, I was just going crazy. So you know, that's really the whole thing, man. And then just you know, also too, like there's been a lot of ups and downs too, but like you know, being on shows, like being on Sim show, like same thing. Sim just opened the door, say, hey, you want to come in? Come on in. And I'm like, okay. Next thing you know, I'm talking to the guys on the panel. So another thing that keeps me going is like guys like say Guillermo, right? You mentioned Guillermo a little earlier. Like there was a fight that me and Guillermo had. I think we're talking about like arthritis, you know. And he was going on saying, nah, because you know, you don't know, because Kemba Walker, he got arthritis, you know, and arthritis is this, so you don't know. You got to be careful because this one, no, you don't know what you're talking about. And I'm like, bro, I'm like 40 years old. What are you talking about? I don't know about arthritis. You know what I'm saying? I kind of got off the deep end. You know, me and him was arguing and stuff. I was bent out of shape or whatever. So the feedback behind that, everybody was saying like, yo, I can't believe that you did that. You know, I love that you stood up to Guillermo. Whatever, like we needed somebody to finally stand up to him and put, you know, kind of whatever, you know, Guillermo's great, you know, he's great at what he does, you know, and whatever it is like that. But I mean, just the feedback from that, it felt like I belong. You know, it's like guys are like, okay, I've been waiting for him to, but I got some other backlash too. People was like, yo, man, get out of here, go back to your own channel, you know, that type of stuff. So I got it both ways, but it was just like people out there care about, you know, my opinion. You know, and then same thing, you know, too. I would love to give it back. If somebody asks me for help, like Steph said, hey, you want to be on the show? I said, yep. You know, just like that, yep. And then that's my answer. If it's somebody, hey, you want to go? Yep. You know, because Sim did not waste no time to invite me into the thing. So MBK all day. I got it all over my channel. I say it all day long. You know, if somebody needs help, hit me up. I'm gonna help you out the same way that Sim did for me. So that's it in a nutshell. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't have a set schedule. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow. I don't know why I'm doing this. I don't know where I'm leading to, but I know I can't stop. So that's it in a nutshell.
All right, there you go. Let me bring in Tony. You see how nice and even this looks? But Tony said at the last minute he was coming on the show. I thought he was going to be working, so I'm gonna mess up this nice little rectangle we have here.
It's gonna be a mushroom now. Now it's a mushroom.
I will be the stem. I will be the stem.
There you go.
What's good, Tone?
What's going on?
Good,
Salute,
right.
Queen. Salute to the panel, all-star panel as always. And I had to make it. I had to make it for this one.
I appreciate you.
I appreciate you letting me in.
Yeah, definitely. We got a lot to get to right now. This is actually the beginning. Everybody's just going through introducing themselves in their channel and what motivated them to start the channel. And then we're going to get into the meat of it. Ron, and then you, Tone.
All right. Well, I mean, I am Ron from Still Knick Fans. Thank you, as always, Steph, for allowing me to be here. I appreciate you. You know, MBK family all day, every day. It's funny how I just think, and that's like, this is when you know something's good. You know what I mean? Because I think so many people have already referenced Nothing But Knicks and Sim and his impact. on us. That's why we call him the Podfather, because it's like a tree. Look, and Tony is the stem or whatever. This is a tree that grows here. It's interesting. So my whole thing is, ever since I was young, you know, my voice was a little deeper than some of my peers or whatever. And people would say, oh, well, you know, your pronunciation is good. You know how to say, you know, different words. You carry yourself a certain way and your voice is good. Do you ever think about doing radio or something like that? And I, you know, never really thought it. Radio wasn't my thing. And I definitely didn't want to go to school for broadcasting. That's out. Right. So I just kind of put it on the back burner. But I did, growing up, want to be a record producer. But then when I found out how much it takes to buy your equipment and go to school, that's another dream that got buried. But whatever, that's for another story. So I said one day, and this was, you know, weird, that I was just happened to be on YouTube, because I wasn't big on social media or anything like that. And I just was on YouTube and I saw you know, Nothing But Knicks. And I was like, wow, look at this. He's talking about Knicks. And I see other people. I was like, and there's other fans just talking about their opinion. And I was like, oh, this is really cool. And so I saw that and I was locked in, glued into the show. And I said, okay, this is cool. I'm going to see, you know, next time they come on, I'm going to try to catch another one. Now, in between that and the next time Sim's show came on was Knicks Fans TV. And those are pretty much the only two shows that I had seen. And I saw it was Knicks Fan TV with CP and Jay Ellis. And I was like, wow, this is another cool show talking about Knicks. And I was like, I didn't even know these existed. And I was so used to ESPN and all this stuff. So I was like, okay, well, this is pretty cool. And I just kept watching and watching and watching. No big deal. That didn't change anything. It didn't spark anything at that time. I just was really loving the content and how everything was set up and done. And I said, wow, this is cool. And maybe one day, you know what, if I can call in or something and just add my 2 cents, maybe I'll do that. So I always wanted to do something on YouTube around R&B music. I'm a big R&B music fan. I love hip hop too, but R&B is my bag. And I wanted to do a YouTube channel where I talked about R&B songs and maybe even promoted artists, like brought them on the show, have them sing, do whatever they do. But with all the copyright stuff and all the logistics, I was like, how am I going to make this work? And I was just worried to do it by myself. I'm like, how can I do this? So, you know, John, who happens to be one of my good friends that we grew up in the same neighborhood, you know, we met by playing basketball on the court. And, you know, what we tried to do was do a podcast with all of our hood brothers. Like it was like 12 of us. It was crazy. We called it Chaotic Convo. And, you know, with 12 people, let me tell you, it was very chaotic. But what we ran into was we noticed that it's very hard to maintain order, and also with schedules, people wanting to get their word out. And this is, you know, we're not talking about basketball. We're talking about life, all types of stuff. And then we had to be careful talking about, yo, you heard Bobby got shot the other day. I heard it was these. We had to chill. It was getting crazy. So we tried that for a little bit. We said, nah, you know, it's too up in the air. It's all over the place. That can't work. But I had always really still, I was like, maybe I'll do the R&B thing on my own. But I was like, I don't know. But John was talking to me. He was in my ear like that little birdie. Yo, do something, man. You know what? You could do it. And if you know what, if you don't want to do the R&B thing, I mean, listen, we're always talking about the Knicks. Why don't you do a Knicks podcast? And I was like, I don't know. He's like, well, I'll do it with you. I was like, oh, well, I mean, if you're gonna do it with me, then you know, let's try it. We'll see what happens with it. And that's where Still Knick Fans was created. Because we said, you know what, no matter everything that's happened, all the stuff we've seen. I mean, I'm 45. I think John's 44. Maybe he's 45 too. But we've seen a lot of stuff, a lot of good, a lot of bad, a lot more bad than good. And so throughout all of it, we still Knick fans. So the name just fit. And then once we launched it, it was real slow moving. And we were just, you know, trying our best to figure out, like, how can we be better at what we're doing? Create good content that people want to look at, because with all the competition that's out here now, the Knicks community is big. And then you got the big boys out there that are still growing and flourishing. How can we make our mark? So, you know, every show is just about coming at it from a different angle if we can. Sometimes some things are similar to other people because we're all talking about similar topics, but how can we approach it a little differently? What else can we add? How can we do this in the off season as opposed to the regular season? And I know this is long-winded, but I was just kind of giving you our process of how we got here. But let me get to the two things and then I'll move on that changed, you know, my Still Knick fans' life. And I think, you know, John and Jose, you know, our whole thing, what we got going on, because it's three of us. It's Ron, John, and Jose in the background holding us down. It's the three amigos, man. La tres mascareritos. So what happened was Sim decided to say, you know what? Let's do another live event. Let's make it an NBA draft party, an NBK draft party in Atlantic City. And this is how you know fate is on your side. I've never been good at anything. To me, I've always been, you know, I've been good at stuff, but never like something that I was like, this is my thing. And I feel like I found it now. He was doing the draft party in Atlantic City at the Flagship Hotel. I was on vacation same week at the Flagship Hotel. I said, you know what? Let me just go to the draft party, right? I get to the draft party. Not only do I see Sim, I see Isaiah, I see I don't know if Eru, if you were there. Not this one. I saw you know, a bunch of people that I was like, and I basically kicked it with Christy Entertainer the whole night. So I was like, this is fantastic. I met the MBK family, and then from there, you know, other things happened. I'm a part of the MBK family, right? We got Still Knick fans going. Now we got the NBA report on MBK. And then John used to always say, yo, have you ever seen BLORANGE Tears? I was like, no, I never really, you know, what is it? He told me it's another show talking about the Knicks, but it's different. And there's all these different, you know, shows within it, like old school Knicks and all this. I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna check it out. And I saw Blue Tears, Orange Tears, BLORANGE Tears. And I was like, what? Who is this dude? I said, this guy's a personality. Right. So I checked it out. I'm watching it. And then I'm like, I see it's like there's a lot of people going back and forth. It's real chaotic. But I said, this is different. So I'm looking at it. I'm watching it. Then I start to add my little 2 cents. Then he puts the link out there. Jump on the show. I talk a little bit. But this is, like I said, these are 2 moments, and I'm gonna shut up after this, that changed my life, because it's going to that draft party, meeting Sim, being a part of the MBK fam, and then going on BLORANGE Tears, chopping it up with Uncle Freezy, and everything up until now is taboo. Oh, if you got a show, don't put this in the chat. You know, this is bad etiquette. You don't want to do this. And Freezy threw all that out the window. Yo, if you got a show, put your link in the chat. No, don't worry. When's your show coming on? Oh, blah, blah, blah. Put it in the chat. Then I'm like, well, I can't put the link in the chat, Uncle Freezy. Oh, let me make you a mod. Here, put the link in the chat. Like, he was so welcoming to me and allowed me to do whatever to plug and promote my show. Then he was coming on the show on the weekend, on my Know the Lead show on Saturdays. He was putting in his community tab. Yo, I'm going to be on. Like, all the stuff he was doing helped us grow and helped us. I mean, he got us to, like, we went from like 200 subscribers to like 700. And I was telling you, those 500 subscribers is based on the back of what Freezy was doing to help us. So I can't.
No, it's not, bro. Stop lying, bro. Y'all got those subscribers because y'all talented and y'all consistent and y'all put in the effort, and people see that, recognize it, and they appreciate y'all. I don't take credit for nobody. Y'all did dope work, and y'all deserve credit for it. Y'all still doing dope work, and y'all deserve credit for it. I might have been the wind beneath y'all wings when y'all jumped off a cliff, but y'all did all the flying by yourself.
He threw you.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Well, yeah, I just wanted to, you know, I know this is long-winded. I took up a lot of time, but I felt like I can't tell the story of Still Knick fans and the origin and how it became where it's going, how it's growing, without mentioning, you know, BLORANGE Tears and, you know, the Podfather Sim and Nothing But Knicks, because that has propelled us to another level. Yeah, now we're running, and I do like that. That's the plan for Still Knick fans. We want to leave our mark. I don't want to just be another podcast. I want people to go back and, oh, yo, remember Still Knick fans?
Dope, bro.
That's what I want. So, yeah, that's pretty much it, man. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. And salute to my man John in the chat. I appreciate you, brother.
Definitely. Salute to everybody in the chat.
Oh,
John as well, Word YL.
Dope story.
Everybody else, we got the poll up. and we winning. The Knick content creators is where most of the people in the chat go to for their Knick content. But with no further ado, we're gonna get Tony Crow in here with his creation story, and then we're gonna move on to the other. I'll talk about my story real briefly, and then we'll move on.
Oh man, this is emotional. I ain't even gonna lie. Listen to this. I can only imagine how Sim is feeling over there. But
Tony, we've had discussions behind the scenes where I say, you know, I hate it when I go when people are saying this and that. I just like being part of the group. So, you know, kind of embarrassing a little bit, but
well, I'm sorry because I'm about to pour it on a little bit
so
more.
you're handling it well, Sim. At least externally.
And I'm about to pour it on a little bit more. But you know, my story similar to Ron. I didn't really even want to start with Knicks content. I really wanted to do some hip hop content with my friends, and I had an idea for a podcast based around me and a female host that was going to be the Pillow Talk podcast, right? And the idea of that was really just chilling on the couch with the pillows and just having conversation. We weren't in a relationship, but we would talk about relationships, you know, male perspective, female perspective, etc., etc. That fell through. The hip hop podcast that fell through, similar to Ron. You know, we were talking about things that, you know, we would have had to edit more time editing than actually conversating, and we were conversating for about 3 to 6 hours at a time. Same problems with, you know, a lot of my friends engage in extracurricular activities, which I wasn't willing to put on camera. So that became an issue because, you know, they wanted a break every 15 minutes to go outside. So that didn't work out. As far as the Knick content, I mean, I was tired of ESPN. I ain't even gonna lie. I was sick and tired of the outlook that they were giving on the Knicks, not giving any credit, even though we were bad, and we were bad. They didn't acknowledge anything positive that ever happened. You know, the Knicks lose a game or the Knicks win 3 games in a row, and it's a weekend. I'll be waiting for Monday for them to talk about it. They don't talk about it. They lose on a Tuesday and they're talking about how bad they are all week. So I was like, you know what? Forget this. I was heavy into blogs. I was deep into blogs. That occupied most of my time talking about the Knicks. And that was great. And then somehow I fell upon YouTube. Of course, the same too, Knicks Fans TV and Nothing But Knicks. Going back and forth between those two. But then I seen Sim had I think you had Zoom back then. Or WhatsApp. I forgot. You went through a bunch of transitions, but you had guests on. So I was able, actually, let me step back. Prior to that, there was a thing about in the comments how everybody, you know, they'd be like first if they're the first one in the chat. So that was a big thing. So instead of putting first, I would always put Yo Black is Time. The reason I put that is if you're familiar with the intro, it was the Nas song that starts off Yo Black is Time.
Nas is the GOAT, bro.
And it was just nostalgic. It was automatic. I didn't think about it. I hear the beat, the song plays in my head. So I'm like, Yo Black is Time. Typing that in the chat every time. And I'm noticing that's actually catching on. Now, other people are typing it in the chat as well. Yo Black is Time. Yo Black is Time. So that kind of became like a catchphrase. Finally, I reach out to Sim. He lets me on. We're chopping it up. I'm telling him about the other podcasts I'm thinking about, Pillow Talk podcast, the hip hop podcast. I'm telling him about the problems I'm having getting it off the ground. I'm telling him, you know, maybe I should jump into this Knicks lane, but I'm not sure. You know, I'll be honest. I said, hey, you think I could like I could get like a little segment or something, like 5 minutes every now and again, where I could just say what I'm feeling. And he's like, yo, just do your own thing, like start your own channel. I'm like, I don't want to do it by myself. I'm nervous. I don't got the equipment. He's like, don't worry about it. Just start, upgrade as you go. I didn't have the confidence for the longest time. Just kept coming on his channel, Then I see the spawns, the people branching off and actually doing their own thing. And that's what really gave me the confidence. So, Legion of Knicks, he started on the panel. I seen him branch off and do his own thing. Or Freezy started on the channel. I seen him branch off, do his own thing. So I got the confidence. I finally started it. Now I needed a name. So I told you about the extracurricular activities. My first thought was Knicks and Dimes, right? I'm like, I like it. It's catchy. It's a double entendre. So now I'm searching, make sure nobody has it. I see it's out there. I'm like, oh man, I really wanted that name. And something just came to mind, Knicks and Bruises. I'm like, it's catchy. Still a double entendre. But what does it mean? I had to put a meaning behind it. And I'm like, well, we've been suffering all these years as Knicks fans, going through all these Knicks and Bruises, so to speak. I had a reason behind the name. I went and did the channel. Sim supported me. My first guest, the first episode, which it started out with, it was supposed to be an individual guest each episode, and they talk about their own personal Knicks and Bruises over the year. I figured different age range will have different content from different people. Some of the younger guys didn't experience some of the things that we've all experienced. I'm just making sure everybody's in the same age range that we've all experienced, So, but then I'm like, you know what? We're going to run out of content after a while. The same topics are going to be talked about over and over. I got to expand it. And then, it just went from that idea to just the panel and just talking and every now and again, we'll talk about some Knicks and Bruises, but now the team is doing a lot better. And honestly,
still got some bruises though, but yeah,
we do. But talking strictly about the Knicks and Bruises, I ain't gonna lie, it brought pain to me. It was like it wasn't easy. It was like I had to end it with some positivity,
right?
To kind of end the podcast with some positivity. I didn't want it to be a negative podcast. So I'm still transitioning, I'm still learning, I'm still getting better. But that's how I started. And again, Sim encouraged me the whole way. And made it to part of the family, MBK fan.
Oh, that's what's up.
That's dope.
I'll try to make it as quick as possible. I think for me, I'm a big sports fan. Obviously, I played sports in college. I played sports as a child, baseball, throwing the football, basketball. And maybe like 2 years ago, I was into a lot of Giants. I'm a big New York Giants fan, audio podcasts. And then I said, well, they must have some Knick podcasts too. So I started, Googling those. And everybody was talking about Frank Ntilikina. I was like, no matter which one I went to, I had about 5 of them that I would rotate through. And I just could not understand the Frank Ntilikina thing. And I was on YouTube to watch something else, and I came across Knick Fan TV. I watched that for a little while. Then I came across Nothing But Knicks. And what I noticed about Nothing But Knicks, the panel kept rotating. Different people, was on the panel at different times, and it was a little different. It wasn't just one person, the host or the co-host. It was different people. And Mark was on. I don't know if it was Mark and Josh or Mark and Gmo. It might have been all of them. And it was just funny because, Mark, very demonstrative. So it was funny. And I said, look at this. I'm getting sports news and entertainment at the same time. And these brothers actually know what they're talking about. Like they talked about Ntilikina. I was like, oh, here we go. But it was a very balanced view. I don't think Cornerstone was on that episode. It was a very balanced view. And I said, you know what? I can get with this. I said, I can get with this. They was talking about the draft and I called in, but I took notes. So when I called in, I was reading, you know, my notes because I figured I was going to get too nervous. Sam was like, calm down, you're going to get it, you know, get it all in. So I asked my question and what have you. And afterwards I said, you know what? I wonder if I can go, because I was a member. I said, I wonder if I can go on the panel. It took me like 2.5 weeks. And, you know, when you're in the chat, you know, they was highlighting my comments and that made me feel a little more welcome too. You know, they was highlighting my comment. They was like, well, Steph said this, Steph said that. So it took me about 2 weeks and I DM'd Sim and I said, can I come on the show? And he said, yeah, definitely. You can come on the show. And, you know, that was all she wrote for that part of it. I think I was on the show for a few months or whatever. And he asked me if I would be interested in doing, you know, the Queen's Court. We wanted to have like a female panel. And I think I did that show by myself for like 2 months, you know, trying to get, you know, other females to be on the show. And it just didn't happen. So probably like the 3rd month or so, I opened it up to male guests. And that's pretty much how it's been going, which is fine with me. I think for me, I like mixed panels anyway. For me, when I think about Knick fans, I don't think about male, female, black, white, young, old. I'm probably the oldest one on the panel. But when I hear like Josh, who's, I don't know, maybe not. All right, maybe not. Josh, who's in his, I think, 20s. I hope I'm not putting him on blast. And Isaiah, I respect those guys. So I never like sit on a panel feeling like because of my age or my sport experience that I know more. And that's what I love about at least NBK. When you're on that panel with different people, different ages, different views, and it's all respect and it's all love, no matter what perspective you're coming from. And I think it got to a point where I wanted to do more. You know, I wanted to be able to, because Queen's Court, there's some Mondays I don't want to do it. I'm tired. I had a long week, but you on somebody else's channel, you just can't be like, I'm not doing it this week. You know, you got to be there. You have to be consistent. So I said, you know, I want to do other things and I might want to try this idea and just stop. If I don't like it or if it's not working, just stop. I want to collaborate with a lot of different content creators. I said, you know, I don't want to do too much on Sim's channel because it's not, my vision is not formed yet. You know, I just want to start and stop, you know, stop things. So I said, and then I was figuring, and this is actually the first part of it. I'll do my sports stuff on MBK and stuff like this, like outside the lines type things, sport and leisure type things I'll do on Dope Soul. And that's slowly coming along. But that's pretty much how I became a panelist on MBK. Sim, real gracious. Just watching him. I don't think I ask a lot of questions, but you just watch and you just, you know, pick up on, you know, your lighting got to be right. When he put, what's his name, off the panel, because his headphones was making a lot of sound. You just pick up on things. You're like, all right, my sound got to be right. You know, like those sort of things. And just a lot of support and a lot of love. Me, him, and Tony work closely together now. Each of us have our own channels and we still work closely. And it's really about the fan experience, the draft party, always thinking about different things we can do to include the fans, basically, and those in the chat. So that's my story. I appreciate all y'all stories as well. And we gotta move. I don't even know if we're gonna get to all of this, you know. But I wanna ask you guys this: how does your channel and the content? Well, you can answer these together. Any frustration with mainstream media's coverage of the Knicks? And how does your channel and the content you offer differ from mainstream media, if at all? And everybody may not get the same question. Yes, Tony, would you like to go first?
Please, because I'm gonna tell you, I'm shooting myself some bail right now, because I think a lot of the chat, a lot of the people who watch us think I am optimistic, right? I'm probably one of the most optimistic Knicks fans on the panel. Part of the reason is listening to the mainstream media's take for all these years. I think that's why I'm so optimistic. And that's the reason. That's the reason why I really do. I just think I got so tired of hearing these negativity that I'm like, all right, well, there's got to be a flip side, right? There's got to be a other side of the coin. Let me play devil's advocate. Let me see the glass as half full instead of half empty. So that's the main reason why I think I'm so optimistic. And when I get to that point where I'm saying some negativity, believe me, it built up to that point. It takes a lot for me to reach that point to like when I finally was like, all right, I'm not too sure about Quickly. I was defending him for the longest, and then I was just like, all right, the shot selection, this, that. But it built up to that moment. It takes me a little bit longer than most Knicks fans to be like, oh, get rid of Randall. No matter what, he's not gonna bounce, or he's detrimental to the team. I look at it from both sides. I say, yeah, he had a real bad year, but I'm not gonna negate what he did the year before. He had a bad year coming in, came back, worked hard, and proved that he was better than he was the first year. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say maybe he could do that again until he proves me wrong. And then if he proves me wrong, I live with it, and I got to admit it. But I don't know if that answered your question, but that's why the mainstream media affected me directly by making me a more positive Knicks fan. Because it wasn't just them. I had to hear it from family, friends, event. Oh, you still following the Knicks? You still giving Dolan your money? You still like. So I had to deal with it in my regular personal life. I'm like, man, I can't even go on TV and hear some positive content or some unbiased content. So I'm like, I'll just give it myself.
All right. Hard will. And go ahead, Sam. You want to say something?
I was just saying, yeah, but I'll jump in there. I definitely get tired of the mainstream media and what they say. You know what I mean? Like, there are times when, there's certain people that will, cover the Knicks objectively, but for the most part, people just use the Knicks as a punching bag. I don't know how many times I've been watching ESPN or whatever, and I've heard them talking about a totally different topic, but I could feel and tell they were getting ready to mention the Knicks. And boom, they mentioned the Knicks. And I'm like, they'd be like the Knicks. And I'm like, why? You know what I'm saying? And that would just frustrate me. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like, and where I feel like all of our channels differ from the mainstream media is, it's like, if I call my brother a punk, I can call him that because that's my brother. But if you call my brother a punk, I got a problem with that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And like, so all of us are Knicks fans, and so we know what we've been through following the Knicks. So when we're talking on our shows, we know it's still all coming from love with
Right.
each other, and talking about the Knicks. But with the mainstream media, it's like, they're not Knicks fans. They're just using it because they know when they say something about the Knicks, it's going to get people's attention,
Right.
and people are going to listen to whatever they had to say and comment on it and all that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? And it frustrates me. I don't even, if the Knicks are on TNT and I'm watching it, I don't even watch the halftime show because I don't want to hear what they got to say.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Things like that. And, I'll because I normally don't do halftime. I'll jump on and listen to E-Rule or something because I don't want to hear it. You know what I mean? It's so that's why I think all of our channels really different from mainstream media. We feel like we're in the trenches with the team and in the trenches with each other. Mainstream media is just, that's what they got to do.
Yeah. We are in the trenches, Sim, because when they lose, it's like body blows. And you be like, oh, Sim got his post game. Oh man, I don't know if I can make it tonight.
For real.
But
Hey, I be like, let me see how many panelists he got.
Right,
Oh,
yeah,
man, man, he ain't got it. I gotta go. I ain't gonna leave him.
Yeah, let me go in and mourn with Sim. He can't sit there by himself, burning to death. Man.
It's true. It's true. Hardwell, any frustrations with mainstream media or even the local media? Any frustrations?
Yeah, it seemed like, you know, they always got an agenda that they pushing. And I feel like I get to speak what I really feel and what I'm passionate about. You know, sort of like what Sim said, you know, I talk about my team, but you can't talk about my team if you ain't a fan of that team that
Right.
same way that I talk about my team. So I feel like, just like we was talking about the other situation with the reporter, Malika, you know, they just look for anything to try to get clicks off of our name. And we not even in a position where we want to be yet, but they still want to capitalize off of us, you know? So I just feel like if y'all know that, give us the little bit of respect of what we really are, because they try to paint us in the media as being so bad, not nothing, but they get upset when we don't let them into our media or whatever that we have going on, or because we MSG. You see what I'm saying? We MSG and they got their own brand that they got to represent. You know what I mean? Because it's always business at the end of the day. But, you know, I like the fact that I don't have nobody to censor me and tell me how to feel. And I can argue with my co-host and really argue passionately and still be friends. You know what I'm saying? About stuff that we don't agree about. You know what I'm saying? Because that's when, like Sim said, that's like a brother. When you could argue, and even I've caught Eru and State arguing, you know what I mean? Those are like the best
I kicked him
moments.
off the show.
Oh, word.
Yeah, I kicked him off the show. I was like, man, get out of here.
Yo, those are like the best arguments, man, that we have, man. And you gotta love it because dudes go right back. You know what I mean? Like even me and Freezy, we laugh about some stuff that what people say, it's like priceless moments, man. I was thinking about making some bloopers about all the fun moments from most of the shows or our shows. Everybody should do it for their own show because we got a lot of funny moments. And that's a good point on how we knew media, because the way we could speak our minds and be free and passionate, I don't think they could do that. You know what I mean? They worried about getting paid or losing their job or, you know, so I just like the fact that I could just say what I feel and mean what I say and don't worry about nobody, you know, judging it or trying to shut me down. As long as I ain't saying no words I ain't supposed to really be saying as a grown man, you know what I'm saying? Besides that, we just talking Knicks and sports. And my last thing I want to say is if you too sensitive to talk about that, then you real sensitive. You know what I'm saying? If you can't take somebody saying about your sports take or you upset now because you too soft for being around me. Because like me and Elsie, we grew up in the projects arguing about who was the best rapper. And sometimes we have fights over that. If you don't believe it's true growing up in the project. So a lot of y'all dudes never witnessed that. So, and that's my take on that.
Eru, you can answer that question if you want. But also, how does the content you create on your channel differ from mainstream media's content, if at all, and local media?
Well, my content differs from what they put out is because they don't know what they're talking about. You know, same thing that we were saying about like the whole family stuff. It's like, how could you have such a hardcore opinion about something that don't concern you? You know, like this is something that I've been a Knicks fan forever, for like God knows how long. You know, all of us have. Even if you're young, even if you're in your 20s, maybe you started being a Knicks fan when you was like, you know, when Melo first came out, you know, whatever. So this is your team. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna turn on to ESPN to some dudes I never heard of before in my life and be waiting for their opinion. You know, that drives me crazy. Like, you have no idea what you're talking about. You're not a Knicks fan. You're not from New York or like a guy from Brazil or freaking Austria or Germany that love the Knicks for real. You know, been following the team for real. You don't know what you're talking about. This is not this. You know, so that's what drives me crazy. So I come from a place where I cannot help but to be candid and to be real. I just can't. That's why me and State argued that day, because you know, me and State was arguing about something and he kept saying these key words and I had enough, man. So I freaking cursed him out for like 2 hours and then I kicked him off the show. You know what I'm saying? Me and State are good now, though. You know, but that's what it is, though. I can curse State out and stir is like the next morning. Yo, bro, you want to go on tomorrow night at 9? I'm like, yeah, I want to go tomorrow at 9. You know what I'm saying? That's how it is. You know. But listen, I tell people all the time. You know, like you could just turn it off. Just like my channel. If you don't like what I'm saying, bye. See you. You know, go check out somebody else's channel because there's so much content to mess with. I'll tell you this. I mean, everybody's gonna be long-winded in their takes, but the New York Post. I stopped buying the New York Post back for it was Juve. I was out in Juve during my young years, you know, doing whatever, and this kid got his head blown off, you know, and on the back page they had this kid smeared off all over the back page, blood everywhere, saying that, and they had like a big, you know, a caption, whatever. I'm like, what the? I was right there. I was literally right there, like maybe like a block, 2 blocks away from when it happened. We actually ran from it. And then later on, we find out that happened. So I'm like, you know, these people don't care about us. They putting news and stuff out there. They don't care about the people or whatever. All they care about is selling a newspaper. You know, so the same effect. These guys, the shock media and stuff. All these people that like the young lady that you played on the clip. You know, before we went on or whatever. Like I don't know who she is. Who is she? And why do I care what she has to say? You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, the New York media. You know, they banned us out. Yeah, but I don't care about what you have to say, you know, and I wouldn't even know what you have to say if somebody didn't share it on Twitter, because you know, that's another thing. Talk about the New York Post. I haven't bought the New York Post since like I was in my 20s. I haven't paid for cable and like what? How old am I now? Like damn near like 10 years I haven't paid for cable. You know what I'm saying? I get my you know, content, you know, through other means now. I have no use for cable. I don't pay for ESPN. I don't pay for all that stuff. You know, I refuse to. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't know what they're talking about, and they don't represent me. And like I said, I don't care. I don't know who they are. They don't know who I am either. But I don't know who they are, and I'm not going to support that just because they're on TV. Like people need to wake up about that type of stuff, man. You know, that's why we're here. You know, we have to take control of what belongs to us. You know, and that goes from sports and just everything in life in general. You know,
take control of the narrative. Anybody else want to comment?
People don't even watch. I was gonna say people don't even watch TV like they used to anyway. So more people watch YouTube. More, you'd be surprised. TV is going out of style for real. So it's a great time for YouTube.
You get to choose what you want to watch and when you want to watch it. Anybody else want to talk about their frustrations with mainstream media? Because I want to move on to the Brunson press.
I got a short thing, if I may.
Yeah.
So my deal is with a lot of us. I think a lot of us struggle with the difference between what is journalistic integrity and what is entertainment.
Right.
And when we look at
integrity, I didn't mean to cut you off. Integrity, that's a big word, man.
Yeah. I'm gonna put it in the private chat so we can. No, I'm just bugging. But
you know, I didn't mean to cut you off, but it's a forgotten word. But you know, go ahead. You know.
Yeah. And so the point I was getting at, bro, is we forget that Fox is an entertainment company, and they have sports shows, and ESPN is owned by Disney, an entertainment company, right? And so a lot of times we see, because I'm like, you know, sometimes I look at ESPN, I'm like, wow, that dude Coley Harvey is a handsome man. That dude right there, I'm like, dang, everybody in his class must be supermodels or something. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, whatever happened to the regular folk? And then it dawns on me that the first word in ESPN is entertainment. Entertainment and Sports Production Network, right? They don't care nothing about sports. To them is secondary, right? Your viewership is primary, right? And they owned by Disney. So that's the same company that has Mickey Mouse as the logo, right? And then there's Fox, right? You see Fox News and all that stuff, but Fox, 20th Century Fox is a movie production company that brought other stuff and put it up under the Fox umbrella, right? And so sometimes we have to, when we look at what it is that we're getting, we have to consider the source. Is this entertainment or is this news, right? It was at a point where ESPN had to do their separate channel, ESPN News, to let people know that some things is sports and entertainment and some things are news, right? They had to distinguish, but now they don't do it as much. Now they give you all this stuff into one thing. Like you see, like I saw this girl, L, whatever her name is. She is not a journalist. She's a TV personality. Malika Andrews is not a journalist. She didn't go to Northwestern. They have the same kind of college backgrounds that we do. You know what I'm saying? A bachelor's degree in such and such. You know, they intern here at such and such place and all these type of things. But then they pose as those like Ian Begley and others that have gone to school for it. Right? And so they present the news in a certain way. They're like, yo, let me bring in Woj to talk about such and such. But you notice that they don't do it. Right? They don't break the news. They don't report. Like they don't confirm stories with multiple sources. They don't talk about eyewitness accounts. All they do is let a journalist talk and then feed off of what that journalist said. Because they can't. They hadn't gone to school for it. They don't have journalistic integrity. They don't have, when the journalists took an oath coming out of school that they were going to tell the truth about everything they see and report it as it actually happened. And when they can, they're going to use multiple sources to report it. And y'all been to school. Y'all know how this thing works. You can't report on nothing unless you have eyewitness accounts. You got to have firsthand stories. If you didn't see it, you got to get multiple witnesses and all this type of stuff. And so when I heard the Malika Andrews thing, I was like, clearly, this is a young lady who overstepped her bounds because she's not there to be a journalist. She is there as a TV personality. That's it. That's it. And so a lot of times when we get our news, we got to be careful about who we're getting our news from, because a lot of times it's people with backgrounds just like us, like have some schooling and different types of stuff or whatever, and we make it to a certain thing. That's why I'm careful when I mention stats or news or anything that, and I see Sim do it too. We'll start with, according to such and such from such and such, they said such and such and such. Right. And we all do it, like, because we're not out there on the beat, you know what I'm saying, working the beat, you know what I'm saying, getting the news. We see these things, like a lot of us see stuff on Twitter, and we'll see one thing on Twitter, we'll try to corroborate it, like how many people are reporting this thing on Twitter, like is this thing trending on other social media sites, right? Is this thing on the snail on ESPN? Did Fox News, did somebody put this out, right? But then others will say this is the news because they have the platform. We don't do that. I have more respect for Knicks fans than that.
Right.
What I will say to you is this: I will speak to my experiences on the court, right? And I have a background in reporting, like not that type of news reporting, but in analytics, so to speak. So I'll speak to like the analytical side of stuff, put stuff up, and help Knicks fans decipher and decode and break these myths about all the things that they saw. Like people often, the narrative by ESPN and others in Twitter is that Julius Randle's a bad defender. But then when you go to sources, NBA.com, StatMuse, Cleaning the Glass, all these type of things, Julius Randle is a very good defender. But what happened is they'll take a clip of a guy, right? A clip of maybe 2 or 3 plays through a 50-game stretch and string them together. And then say, hey, look, I saw this dude loafing on this play. And then what that does is ruin somebody's reputation without just cause.
Right.
And that's why I do it. I'm sorry, Queen.
That's okay. I do want to say about Malika Andrews. She does have journalist experience. So I don't think she's, just somebody that
My bad. I'm sorry, then.
Yeah, no.
I'm sorry, Malika.
No. It's important, that I don't think she's going to be watching this. But I just pulled it up. She graduated with honors from the University of Portland. She was editor-in-chief of the Beacon University student newspaper. She received awards from the Society of Professional Journalists, the National Association of Black Journalists, the Columbia Scholastic Press Association Award. And before joining ESPN, she worked as a reporter for the Chicago Tribune. Before that, she worked for 1 year for the James Reston Reporting Fellow in the sports department at the New York Times. So she has journalist experience. They didn't just hire her off the street.
I'm sorry, Malika Andrews. I'm so sorry.
Off the street. But that being said, You know, I still took issue with her comments after the Knicks introductory event of Jalen Brunson, where it wasn't billed as a press conference, right? It was an event for the fans and the Knicks season ticket holders. So before I pull up that clip and ask you your opinion on that, what are your thoughts on the introduction of Jalen Brunson to the fan and the fact that the national media or not even the local media was invited? Ron, I'll start with you.
All right, I'm gonna be real quick because I just wanted to say one thing to the other question.
Yeah, absolutely,
real quick.
Yes.
I'm with everybody. How everybody feels about national media and how they portray different things, and then obviously how it relates directly to the team that I love, or whatever. But I just wanted to say that the biggest thing and the reason why I have so much contentment for what I see when I watch an ESPN or something of that nature is, it's one thing for you to tell me what you think your opinion is or what your analytical take is about what you see before you, about a franchise, about an organization, whatever it is, okay? But it's another thing when you say, I'm a Knicks fan. That's my team. Why are we so bad? Why do we stink? Why are we the laughing stock? Oh, you guys are going to get this guy. Well, Donovan Mitchell, don't come to the Knicks. You're not going to go anywhere here. This is, you know, I'm not putting words in the person's mouth. You guys know who it is.
Right.
But the point is, like, that is what bothered me the most about mainstream media. It's all the stuff that you guys said, but what really gets me is when I see a supposed fan of the team that I'm a fan of talking bad about the team in ways that only people who don't like a team or who aren't fans talk. Like, what type of fan talks badly about everything his so-called team does? Like, I know there's media, there's propaganda, there's stuff that has to be sold, but if you're going to do it, I would appreciate it if you had a little bit more integrity and just said, hey, you know, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this is the show, this is what we do. But stop calling yourself a fan, because you're not a fan. A fan wouldn't do that. And if
you talking about Molly Carum?
Yeah, no, I'm not. But imagine if that was a person that was a fan of you. Imagine you were something that was an entity where they say, you know, I'm a fan of him. But let me tell you, Ron, I don't know. You ain't a fan of me then. Like, that's not the type of fan I want to hear.
That's crazy.
That is wild, bro. That's wild. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say about that. And
the one thing I would say really, really quick is, I wonder how much control they have over their content. Now, I do think when you talk about the big ones like Stephen A, and I think they have a bit more control over the content and what they say, but they do have producers. And I'm pretty sure the producers, I don't know if they tell them exactly what to say, but I do think they tell them the storylines. I'm not sure if they tell them how to approach it. And obviously, if you're somebody like Stephen A and you've been there for a long time, I think you have a bit more say in it than someone who's just coming into ESPN or whatever that media platform.
Yeah. Agreed. And
you know,
I agree with you, Steph.
I think they have someone, you know, normally have somebody in their ear, right? So they're probably telling them, you know, they might be giving them little tips. Hey, pick up the energy a little bit more.
Right.
Or, you know, bring it down. Or maybe you might want to mention this, you know,
right,
since you're on this topic. No.
Yo, keep it a buck. This guy Stephen A. Smith made millions of dollars off the backs of Knicks fans. You know, I'm a Knicks fan, blah blah. All this yah that he does throughout the course of his career, he's built his whole portfolio off the backs of throwing Knicks fans under the bus, making us look stupid, and the rah and the jokes and stuff like that is all centered around him, and it's been happening ever since he's been there, and it's been getting progressively worse throughout the years. So that integrity word, like I was saying, I didn't mean to cut you off on Freezy at the time, but that word is so important. People don't even know what it means. You know, like the reason why I'm on this show is because of the integrity of freaking Queen. You know what I'm saying? That's the only reason why I'm here. She said, hey, you want to be on the show? Yep. You know what I'm saying? If somebody else can, if Stephen A. Smith asks me, hey, you want to come on the show? Nope. You know what I'm saying? Instantly, because you have no integrity. I cannot sit and talk with you about anything if you don't have any integrity. I cannot sit with you because it's like, you know, shout out to State. That's my guy. You know, I don't want him to get mad at me for keep mentioning him about it. But when we had that argument and stuff like that, you know, it just like, it was key words that was biting me, sticking me. I couldn't take it no more. You know what I'm saying? We talked about it and stuff, and we move on, whatever. We're good friends, still doing our show and stuff like that. But we could do that because, you know, State got integrity. You know, I got integrity. You know, that goes so far, man. And I just can't be a part or be in the presence of anything that breaks that, you know. So
with it,
I agree.
Well, I don't know if I
finish.
Yeah, because I don't know if I answered your question. I apologize for that. But yeah, I just wanted to put that out there because I don't care what you know your agenda is. You got a job to do. You got to sell. It's like selling records. I got to sell records. Well, I got to sell news. I got to sell ESPN. Fine, I get it. But there's one thing to say, hey, this, and this. My team stinks. We're not playing good. We need something to change. But I can go at them. But don't clown them. He clowns them, and others clown them. You can't call yourself a fan. It's one thing to say you're bad and have some integrity with it. Talk about the bad things that need to be improved. Talk about the, you know, the stuff that they can work on. How can we? No. You don't do that. You clown them. It's jokes.
Yeah,
it's different. So anyway, I'm sorry, and I talked so much that I kind of forgot what your question was.
Did you have any thoughts on how the Knicks handled Brunson's introduction?
No, yeah, I agree with it. I think that I'm 100%. When it first happened, I was kind of on the side that I didn't like it. I think that everybody should have a chance to be included and represented and involved. However, just looking at how they carried themselves after they weren't involved shows you why they shouldn't be involved. So now I've changed my stance. That's how it is. Yeah.
Right. I want to show the clip. And I don't want Eru to get triggered because when I watched the show, I think it was this particular clip. But I'm gonna show it real quick and just get your reaction.
Right, though, to be very clear, Donovan has not demanded a trade from Utah, but as our Adrian Wojnarowski reported, teams, including the Knicks, are trying to engage the Jazz in talks for the star guard. Of course, I said a fan event yesterday for Jalen Brunson because there were no reporters who were invited or allowed to be in there, which is absolutely ridiculous. Yes. And so Jalen Brunson could not be asked about the potential for who else he likes to see around him or who he would like to see be on this roster for the start of the season because there was no media there to hold those folks accountable. So I guess I'll start with you here, Dave.
But listen, hold on,
wait a second.
Hold on.
Hang on.
Isn't that the Knick thing?
That is the Knicks thing. It doesn't make it an acceptable thing.
Yeah. Very unacceptable.
But Dave, I'm going to put that over here.
Yeah.
So there was no media. So there was no media present.
No media. No.
That's what she said. There was no media present.
No, there was
not even Bill Pito.
Well,
because he works for MSG.
Yeah, he works for MSG.
But he is media though, right?
He is. But I mean, the New York Post wasn't even there. The local media wasn't there. But to someone's point, I forgot who just said it. Once you hear what they said afterwards, because I felt the same way. I was like, because when I was like the local media, the Post, like the local media wasn't even invited. But listen, you know, MSG's made the decision they want to control the narrative. They see them being clowned, you know, and they didn't want those questions. Why you want to come and ask? This is him and his family being introduced to the fan base, and you're upset that you don't have the opportunity to come in and ask them about somebody that's not even on the team and how he would feel about playing with them. Like, I just feel like that's so off for the moment, what this moment was about. So I'm glad, you know, that you weren't invited because you would have turned it into something totally different.
Right.
Sam?
Yeah. One, I see Yo sorry, Mr. Coates said that was a fan event, and it was, right? That was a season ticket holders event. So it wasn't even billed as a press conference. It was billed as a introduction, right? An introduction. But two, I like the fact that the Knicks are saying, you know what, let's control our own narrative.
Right.
Because any other narrative is going to be out there anyway. Whether or not the Knicks invite the media to this or that, the narrative is going to be out there. So I think it's smart. You know what? We're going to get our message out first, and then we'll open it up to other people, you know, as time goes on, to ask questions, because they're going to get a chance to ask all that stuff at some point. You know what I mean? And I also think one of the reasons that the media, so I liked it. I wasn't upset at all. I liked it. I also think, though, one of the reasons that the media was so upset is because it levels the playing field. Right? They saw the same thing that we saw. So now we can go on and have a discussion about it the same way that they can have a discussion about it. And they have no inside sources or background information about it. So now they're competing with us. About it. Right. And that's a problem.
Wait a minute. Are you saying that they gotta actually work to be better instead of cornering the market?
Exactly. They got to work for it. Now they got to have a personality to be able to actually say something and give an opinion, have debates, whatever it's going to be. But they don't have, see, back in the day, it was like if something like that happened, you know, we didn't have social media and all this kind of stuff. We relied on the newspaper or a TV show or whatever to find out, oh, the Knicks did this introduction with Jalen Brunson, and here's what happened. Now, the Knicks can just go on YouTube, Twitter, whatever, stream it, and it comes to us direct. And then now you can let people like us, content creators, have at it, talk about it, what was said, break it down, et cetera, et cetera. I think it levels the playing field, and it hurts their pocket. You know what I mean? It hurts their pocket.
I read somewhere that I think it was 2021, ESPN, the largest sports media outlet in the United States, lost 10% of their subscribers in 2021, and that turned out to be a lot of money. I forget what the exact dollar figure was, but I just want to I know we played the Malika Andrews clip. I just want to say that I don't have an issue with her per se. I think her saying that is really just a microcosm of how other Knick analysts feel about the Knicks. She wasn't the only one that shared that sentiment. She spoke about it, but she's not the only one that felt that way. So that wasn't about her in particular, but that's just how I believe a lot of the Knick media felt about that particular event.
Hey, Queen, I just want to add to that integrity thing. Like that word is so important, because if they had if she had integrity, or if the organization had integrity, the first thing they would have said, "Oh, we didn't get a chance to ask a spicy question." They should have said that the media's job is to bring the truth and whatever. They had an opportunity to stand up for all media, because it's not right that the media wasn't at the event. You know, the media should have a presence there because they had to be there to give that thing, but they have no integrity, because the first thing they said is that we didn't have a chance to do blah, 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 you know, to sell their own narrative, which isn't fair. You know, they should have been there. We had an opportunity to bring the news to the people, you know, and journalists, whatever, and they had the opportunity to stand up for that, and they didn't do that. So that plays into the whole integrity. They have no integrity. So the Knicks showed them that, listen, we'll let you know when we're gonna have something here for you guys, and then you can come do it. You know what I'm saying? We'll let you know. You're not gonna let me know.
How about just reporting on what you did see instead of trying to grind the necks?
Yeah, that's what it is. You know, it's unfortunate.
And then also that they weren't allowed to hold the Knicks accountable. Why?
That's what they're upset about.
Accountable for what? Yeah, they were at a
what is there to hold the Knicks accountable about?
Yeah. You know, that thing with Jalen Brunson, they almost brought the grills out. You know, it was a family cookout, man. It was a family outing. You know what I'm saying? They almost brought the picnic tables out with the barbecue grills.
Right.
You know what I wanted to say about that? Because Ron and you, Queen, said kind of the same way that I felt. That at first I looked at it different, and then when you see how it played out, I felt different, because I felt like they don't talk to the media, but sometimes you got to take a step back and really see what's going on. And I felt like, oh, you see how they try to play us? Now I see why they don't talk to the media. Now I see why they didn't let them come in. And when you listen to what she said, right, the things that she was upset about is speaking of things that this meeting wasn't even about. It was to welcome this man here.
Yep.
Right.
And like Eru just said, when you listen to what she's saying, it shows there's no integrity because you're upset that you didn't get a chance to ruin this man's greeting, his introduction to the Knicks, because this is not like when he goes the beginning of the season, you're going to have all this time to talk to this man.
Right.
So to me, what I got from that is how important a Knick take really is to their media. And that's what we're here for, because we're talking about new media, and that proves a point how important new media is, because they're not that important anymore when they're not invited to everything, and they got to be just like us and look on the outside in, and that's what made them so upset. So I just wanted to say that, because that's crazy, and that just goes to show how powerful new media really is.
Right. And Tony, before I get to you, and to Sim's point, MSG recognizes that. They went right to Twitter. They went right. If you want to watch it, you can watch it on Twitter. You can watch it on YouTube. They went right to social media. We know how we can reach our fans. We don't have to go through ESPN or any mainstream media, even the local media, to reach our fans. We know where they at. We can go right to Twitter and right to YouTube.
And Perkins can't wait to get his little piece in there.
Right.
Cornball.
Yeah,
Tony,
and
Tony,
then,
wait. Let
I'm sorry,
Tony, and then Uncle Freezy, you can go.
Okay.
All right, Will, I just wanted to add one word to your statement. Negative. How important negative media or negative take on the Knicks is important to them. Not the positive take. It's important press for them to say something negative, because that's where they get their ratings and clicks. And to be honest, it's from us. As you know, as much as we hate to hear it, we still click on it. We still watch it. You know what I mean? Just to boil our blood. And they go
all of them, man. They all blocked on my social media. I blocked everybody.
And then we could go vent to each other. And then I feel like the Knicks, they probably looking at it the same way I was looking at it, and some of you guys were looking at it, where, I'm tired of what they're saying about us. I'm tired of their narrative. We have our platform. They have MSG. They have their platform. You know what I mean? We have our own reporters. We have our own journalists. We can give you our news. You know what I mean? And I'm sure all the media will be allowed to talk to the Knicks. Right. But that's going to be when it's mandated, when it's media day. You know, when it's there's times that they have to be there. They'll be allowed there. But we're gonna give you the bare minimum. You know what I mean? The bare minimum. No OTAs.
Right. So now I want to transition into you guys. Oh, go ahead. I'm Sim.
Just one last thing. When they talk about accountability, because I do, and not for sports, but I do believe media is important, right? When you're talking about accountability, I start pointing now to, public officials, right? Politicians, public institutions. We need the media to hold them accountable because we pay taxes. So we need to know everything that's going on. Sports is not that, in my opinion. So, like, who are you holding them accountable to?
Right.
I can hold them accountable by not buying a ticket. I don't need the media to help me hold them accountable. I can do that by not buying a ticket if I so choose. But I can't not pay my taxes, right? So if you talk about the media being, important to holding someone accountable, as Malika was saying, to me, that more goes to the whole public institutions, politicians, and things like that. Yes, we need the media there to hold them accountable, not sports teams.
Right. Right. I agree with that. But now I want to transition to from the national media, the local media, to focusing on you and your channel and the content that you're putting out. What continues to drive you to put out quality content? I got a good sense of what drove you in the beginning, what motivated you to start your channels. But what drives you or motivates you to continue to put out quality content? Because what I notice when I listen to you guys, the level is not going down. Like the level of the content, your thumbnails, your lighting, the sound. As time goes on, I see you guys leveling up, right? So what drives you to continue to put out quality content and level up your challenge, your channel? Uncle Freezy, I'll start with you.
All right, so I'll answer that in a personal way, because the professional way, I don't really consider myself a professional at this, right? I'm just flying by the seat of my pants, right? But personally, I have a personal fear of failure, right? Like winning is important, but not losing to me is more important, right? And I know that sounds weird to people, right? Like how are you saying that you would rather not lose as opposed to winning? What it is for one, I'm not in competition with you guys per se, because I love the environment. When y'all win, I win. You know what I'm saying? When everybody here wins, I'm winning. Like if I don't do nothing and y'all win, I see the boost in my numbers. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and I don't have to do a thing. Like when y'all are successful, just by being in this universe, I win, right? But the reason why I do man, I got a show on right now. Just came on at 11, right? I got this thing that I feel like Knicks fans and people in general, especially our culture, like all of us are just about the same, from the same culture. In the inner city, hardworking, family structure may not have been perfect. You know what I'm saying? Kids are going through the struggle that we went through 20 years ago. They trying to find their way. We trying to upgrade our cars and houses. And we're like with me, I'm probably about seven years away from where I can retire, right? About 7 years. And I know E-Rule, like, Uncle Freezy, you don't look like it. I know E-Rule. I know. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna get, but I'm getting it closer every day. Every day I'm getting closer and closer, right? And so the thing, I guess ultimately what I'm getting at is in this culture we have to add positive things to our culture, because there are so many negative things that are bleeding into our culture every day. There is no self-correction. There's no compass that keeps everybody in. So it's the reason why a lot of y'all have sports channels and lifestyle channels, right? It's because we love sports, but we also understand that in this culture that we exist in, that we got to have some type of compass, something that keeps people, you know what I'm saying, like entertained and educated at the same time, with some stuff that matter. Man, like the channel, I'm like BLORANGE Tears, we on 3 times a day.
Wow.
Most of the times it's 3-4 hours at a time.
Wow.
Right. We just rocking and rolling, because Knicks fans deserve that. Knicks fans deserve the platform where they can be heard. Right. And so we're going to do it the best we can. And unlike when the newspaper was out, where you had to wait, like I came up in the Clyde Frazier Daily News era, where I had to wait till the next day after the game went off of Channel 9. Y'all remember WWOR, Channel 9? After the game went off on Channel 9, I had to wait the next day to see what Mike Lupica said. I had to wait all night, and then go to the Puerto Rican store first thing in the morning, get the newspaper, get a coffee for my pops and a pack of Winston's, and he let me keep the change, which was probably like 8 or 9 cents. My pops was cheap, but don't fault him. He didn't know. He know no better, right? But now I got a platform where I can provide this as often as I want and on my terms, and fans get to absorb as much as they want and on their terms. And that's the reason why I feel obligated. That's why I feel like I cannot let these people down, because they deserve better. It's the reason why I rock so much. So, hey, y'all, I got to get out of here and go rock Queen.
Appreciate you.
Excellent content as usual. Keep on leading the way. Hard Will, I'm going to argue with you later on, Hard Will.
Yeah, I'm coming. I'll be over
there. Everybody else,
later,
MBK, Bam, Sem, Tony,
crazy.
Ron, everybody, yo, I'm out here. I'm headed over to the
I just want to say, BLORANGE Tears was Twitter Spaces before Twitter Spaces.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
For real.
That's a whole fact right
That's
there.
deep.
That's a whole fact.
Yeah. All right, y'all. I'm gonna catch up with y'all later.
I appreciate
right.
you. All right. Hartwell, what drives you to continue to put out quality content?
Well, the name of our show is called For the Love of the Game. And, you know, we get a chance to talk about more than just basketball. You know what I'm saying? Even though we diehard Knick fans and we seem like we just a Knick show because we talk about Knicks for the majority of the show. But we talk about rap, you know, and what drives me is, you know, when I see a panel full of people and we having great talks like we in the barbershop. And I said it on the show the other night when I first got into it. And when I see, you know, nothing but Knicks, but BLORANGE tears, I see the panels and I see how y'all doing it. And I see us going in that direction. That motivates me to keep on trying to give good content, trying to give good takes, trying to make a lot of sense, using my basketball IQ to break down takes from really playing the game, coaching the game, understanding the game as much as I do, trying to share that with people. And I know we got a smart fan base, so I figured that they could distinguish that I know what I'm talking about. And now I'm getting better as far as hearing people out more, you know, giving people a chance, not thinking that they always wrong because people have an opinion just because they don't think the way I think or look at it the way I look at it. And being like that, you learn a lot in the process. And like, you know, you don't want to scare people away from wanting to come on your channel and talk. And I realized that when I was first doing it, I was a little too aggressive on saying, nah, that ain't it, or da da da. And now it's just more friendly because it's like we all family. It's like a barbershop. You don't want to scare nobody away. You know what I'm saying? Right. So if you out there and you scared to come on for the love of the game, you see I tuned it down. You welcome. Yeah, I'm more professional. I'm getting better. I'm learning from y'all. And, you know, Freezy, I watch all of y'all. You know what I'm saying? And like I say, I appreciate everything that I learned from you guys and how y'all welcome me and the podcast world with open arms, inviting me here.
Absolutely.
You know, I can't wait to come on Nothing But Knicks and talk on that platform sometimes. No, and I be on Ron's show. You know, I'm glad to meet Eru. I seen him. You know, I seen the work he put in. You know, I'm just happy to be in the presence of you guys and the give game and the get game from y'all. And I'm always gonna be motivated, especially after things like this. And as many people come and watch and say they tuning in. So that's what motivates me, the people, the fans, and my peers, everybody that's doing the same thing. And, you know, that's what motivates me to see that this is something that we could do and we could win doing.
All right. Ero?
Well, you know, I think we all kind of like, you know, are on the same page with that, you know, but for me, I'm a big believer in like energies and stuff like that. So, I mean, I gave birth, this whole podcast and stuff started due to me almost, you know, I had a near death experience, you know, so when you're full of energy and you're with, you know, in tune with energy, when the energy seems like it's gonna disappear, you tend to get a you know, an awakening. You know what I'm saying? So I had a little piece of perspective or whatever, something changed in me, whatever, where I appreciate the energy even more. You know, I may have done that, you know, earlier on in my life. I might have been, you know, kind of like off the path a little bit, but you know, having that moment again just opened me up back to the energy, and I was in the wrong energy, you know, so I needed to be you know, with like-minded people, you know, I needed my spirit needed to connect with other people that I was you know, in tune with. I could not be around people that were attacking my energy. So I mean, you know, the whole Knicks orange and blue stuff, you know, the Knicks stuff, you know, I had to be, you know, connected to that energy. You know, so that's what drives me to this, man. Because there's somebody out there right now, just like Freezy. You know, his brother was sick. He eventually lost his brother. Rest in peace to that, to his brother and all this. But you know, there's somebody out there right now to sit in the hospital bed watching this channel right now. You know what I'm saying? So we owe it to them, you know, because we all have this gift of gab. Ron is great, Sim is great, Tony's great, Harwell is great, Steph is great. You know, we have this gift that we have, you know, that a lot, because anybody in this chat could do what we do, you know, but they don't, because they can't really do what we do, because there's a lot into this, you know, just to even speak in front of people the way that I'm speaking, you know. So, you know, I'm here for that. I'm here for that energy. I'm here for that dude on the hospital bed that's looking for something to pull from. You know, I'm here for that dude in Brazil that's all around bunch of soccer people, and you know, I love the Knicks and nobody else does. You know what I'm saying? I'm here for the culture, man. You know, so you know, that's it in a nutshell. You know, I'm just here for the energy, you know, the good times, you know, and meeting great people. I met everybody. I didn't meet Hard Will yet. You know, that'll definitely happen soon. You know, but that's what it is, man. So I'm all about the just the great energy surrounding the you know, what we do here with this Knick stuff.
Right. Sam and Ron, you can answer that question as well. But how do the subscribers affect the content that you put out, if at all?
Okay. Well, I guess I'll start with saying, you know, basically 3 things keep me, you know, trying to continue to level up. One, just like everyone else, I just feel obligated to the people who's watching, you know, to bring good content with integrity, like Freezy and Eru was mentioning, you know. So that's why I'm always, you know, like, according to this person, according to that person, and I work hard. You know, a lot of times I spend hours to do a 30-minute show. You know what I mean? Trying to make sure that I have my numbers correct,
Right.
you know, breaking things down right, because I want to deliver good information. You know what I mean? So, you know, I feel that obligation, you know, to the people who are, you know, supporting, because if people aren't watching, then, you know, you don't have a channel. You know what I mean? If people aren't watching. So I feel that obligation. I also feel, you know, it's kind of funny. I also feel, though, an obligation to the Knicks, because, like, for me, growing up, basketball was a refuge for me. Right. You know, when I was in high school, you know, this is, you know, stories. I won't talk about it now, you know, but just some rough times coming up, you know, me and my mother and my brother. And so basketball was a refuge for me. The Knicks were a refuge for me. I mean, many nights, you know, I had to just tune out everything else going on, and I just laid down and listened to the game and listen to what Clyde Frazier called the game on the radio. I in the room, totally dark, just laying with my head next to the speaker, listening. And that was my way to escape, you know. So I always, you know, that's how, you know, that's really how I became such a dedicated Knicks fan. But so when I'm doing content, I feel the obligation to make sure that I'm putting out quality content that's, you know, good content, you know what I mean? And, you know, just upholds what I want to stand for. The next is everybody that's on this panel and other people. I keep seeing other people upgrade their quality. I'm like, well, damn, I gotta get better. You know what I'm saying? People get like, I gotta get better. I can't get left behind. You know, and then you know, something that is maybe even a problem of mine is I'm a perfectionist. Like, you know, little things bother me. You know what I'm saying? Like, people probably can see on my screen. If I'm looking on my screen and my words are not exactly centered, they probably see the words move across the screen because I'm centering it. Like, sometimes I'm a perfectionist to a fault. I've had things that I didn't either put out or whatever, because, you know, sometimes it drives me crazy. I'm painting my house right now, and I see these little things that I missed, and I'm like, damn, I got to go back and get that and that and that. Other people like, I don't even see what you're talking about, but I'm a perfectionist like that. You know, sometimes it drives myself crazy, but I can't help it. You know what I mean? So that's what keeps driving me to continue to produce good content. And then what was the other one? How the subscribers impact?
Yeah, if at all, the content you put out.
Yeah, definitely. You know what I mean? Because you know, I have people say, hey, you should cover this, you know, you should cover this, or maybe do a topic on this, do a topic on that. And I'll definitely take that into consideration. And a lot of times I've done topics because people have, you know, recommended that I do a certain topic. You know what I mean? Because like Evie was saying, some people maybe don't have the confidence to get up and do it themselves. So if they're saying something and they're expecting or hoping that we're going to be the voice for them.
Right.
You know, so I try to, you know, see what people are thinking about, and then, you know, formulate a topic, you know, that allows discussion from what people is thinking about, you know. Now, you know, what I try not to do is, because you'll have sometimes the majority of the fan base is thinking one way. And if I don't think that way, I'm not going to act like I think that way. I just,
Right.
you know, I'm going to say what I'm going to say.
Right.
But it's still going to, you know, bring that discussion out, and people are gonna, be able to talk about it. So, I'm always looking and seeing, what are people thinking, how are they feeling, and then how can we create a discussion around that.
Right. Have you ever scrapped a topic that you don't think the your subscribers or your fans wanted to listen to? Because I know I when I'm thinking of shows, I wanted to do a show on Randall one time. Like, nah, they not really trying to hear about Randall right now. I'm not gonna do that show. I'm not gonna do that show right now.
Well, I've definitely done that. You know what I mean? Just doing the show today, I was like, I don't want to do another Donovan Mitchell show. I think people are tired of hearing about Donovan Mitchell right now. So I don't want to go and do another Donovan Mitchell show. You know what I'm saying? So I was looking for something else to do. You know what I mean? Instead of just doing a Donovan Mitchell show. So I've definitely done that. I've had things that I said, I don't know if I'm gonna say that on live stream right now. You know what I mean? This might not be the time to say this particular thing. I'll hold it.
Right.
Sometimes our backstage conversations have a lot of things that we say we're not gonna say live.
Right.
I was just about to say I done got plenty of phone calls from you, Sam, like, yo, I'm thinking about this and that, but I don't know if I want to put it out. And we'll have a 30-minute talk about it, and maybe sometimes you do, sometimes you don't, but
Ron, what drives you to continue to put out quality content, or you can answer the other question. If your subscribers or those in the chat impact your content, if at all?
I think one of the biggest things that drives me is, I alluded to it earlier, I really want Still Knick fans to leave a mark. Like, my whole thing in life, I think I'm a fairly smart person. I'm not a genius. I'm not abnormal in anything. Like I said, I'm one of those people, the running joke, the jack of all trades, master of none. Yeah, I can do a little bit of everything. I haven't found anything that I could say I'm great at. That's me personally. But I feel like ever since I got into this whole podcasting world, it's something that I really enjoy. I feel good speaking. I feel comfortable speaking. I mean, of course, there was a lot of nerves in the beginning, but I think I'm way past that. I just think that the content is just the tip of the iceberg, because I feel like I'm always going to be able to have good content that is relevant, because I'm a fan that lives mostly in the moment, I think. And because if you live in the moment, then your content should be reflective of that. I think the only thing that really stresses me is I may not be a perfectionist. I think I could settle sometimes, but I may not be a perfectionist. But what I am is someone who likes aesthetics. I like things that are visually pleasing. And I don't necessarily feel like I'm at the visual level where I want it to be. Like, I'm real big on, like, if I could put together like a like the crispest viewing for a person, the nice colors, nice aesthetic pleasing, really good crisp sound. If I could do that, then I'll be really happy. And I think one day, hopefully, if everything keeps going good, we'll get there. But that's kind of my thing. I'm not saying our content is the greatest, but I just think that we will always be able to make good, solid content, because I think we're fans that, watch the game. We love the game. We live in the moment. We're not too high or too low. I think we're somewhere in the middle. I think John and I feel the same about stuff when we're doing things. I even think that when we do other shows or whatever it is, it's all like-minded individuals. Nobody's too crazy with it. Once in a blue you get a wild take, but I think we're all pretty even keeled with it. And I like I think that's big for us and what we're trying to do. Now, with regards to subscribers, one of the biggest things I learned when I started doing this, and it's part of when I started doing an interview with your favorite content creator, because what I wanted to do is do a show that wasn't just about Knick stuff, was also about becoming a content creator, starting your own YouTube channel, what goes into it. I wanted to get into people's stories. Now, it hasn't kicked off the way I wanted to, but I'm going to get back into it. But, you know, I did have the fortunate chance to interview Sim. I interviewed Freezy. I interviewed Christy Entertainer. And all their stories are unique. I mean, these are not just, you know, you guys have heard some of the stories right now, but I heard them before. And like, this is all the type of stuff that I want to be able to put out there. And that is something that that's what I'm thinking about the subscribers. But what I learned when I was watching different things is whatever you do, you want to reach your fan base, your clientele, whatever it is, and give them something that is pleasing to them, that they want to be invested in. However, do not do anything thinking that this is what I need to do because this is going to hit.
Right.
I've heard that before, because the problem is there's so many different things. You don't know what's going to catch. You could do anything. I mean, some of us did Kai Soto videos. Who knew that was going to blow up the way it did?
Right.
You know what I mean? So, and it would be crazy for me to say, okay, I just did this Kai Soto video. It ballooned. Now next week, I'm going to talk about Julius Randle and do this. And, you know, I got all these people now they're Kai Soto people. You know what I mean? So my whole thing is like, just do what you feel you think is comfortable, what you feel is right. Go with it. You know, if you felt good enough to put it on in your mind that this is what I want to talk about, this is how I'm going to build out the show, go with it. Doesn't matter what it is, just go with it. And it'll, you know, you're going to hit sometimes, you're not going to hit other times. But the point is the dialogue is there and you're continuing to keep the conversation going. So that's pretty much, you know,
and to improve too.
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Yeah. I mean, I would say for me, and then I'll get to Tony. I'm not sure if I got to you on this topic. I think for me, what drives me is pretty much what drives my life, at least at this point, and that is living beyond boundaries. I think, and moving beyond boundaries. And so for me, in my head, when I'm doing this work, I don't think about my age. I don't think about my gender. I just think about being a Knick fan and putting out content. I think, you know, when I was in my 30s, I spent a good part of my life, because my energy, I have big energy, if you haven't noticed that, trying to play small, you know, because I made people uncomfortable, you know, with my energy. And I'm very benign. I'm a really, really good person. But my energy is really strong, and it would come off, you know, a certain way. And then I would get that feedback, even if it was nonverbal. And then I would try to play small. And then you just get to a point in your life. I mean, I can't say I had a near-death experience, but you just get to a point in your life, and it may come with age, where you just say, I'm here to celebrate life. That's where I'm here. I'm here to celebrate life, and I'm here to do what I love. And I'm not going to allow, you know, what other people think women should be doing or people of my age should be doing stop me. You know, I love the Knicks. I've always loved the Knicks. I've been rocking with the Knicks for over 40 years at this point, you know. And so what drives me is my love for the Knicks and my love for this community. Like, I'm hyped. Like, I don't look at I don't look at which videos hit or don't hit. I don't look at you know, the analytics, you know, or what have you. I'll notice I don't even pay attention to subscribers anymore. In the beginning I did. I don't even pay attention to that anymore. What I love is this. It's the community. Being able to jump on a panel and people respect you enough to jump on the panel with you. And I don't take that for granted. You know, when I wanted to do this show, I didn't know who was, you know, if anybody was going to jump on the, you know, on the show, you know, with me. You don't know, you know, but that's what drives me. And that was the driver of the channel as well. Just being able to collaborate, you know, with different people and have different people on the show, like the bowling chick who's been on Queen's Court and Dope Soul Sports Talk. I just saw her on Twitter, and she said she was a Knick fan. And I just sent a DM. That's what I do. I just see somebody.
She's dope
like,
too.
Yeah, I be like.
I was just gonna say she's dope.
Yeah,
she's dope. I watched that show the other night, and I said she's dope. But I didn't mean to cut you off. That.
No, that's cool. So that's what drives me, the community. Sim, when we did the draft party, I was hyped. Now I was going to Panama the weekend before. I was more hyped about the draft show, the draft party, and being able to meet everybody and to be at the resort for the weekend and whatever than I was about going to Panama. You know, because just to be around people who love the Knicks as much as I do, you could talk it all day, talk it all night. So what drives me is the community, coming on live and seeing people actually show up in the chat. I don't take that for granted either. You know, people comment on your videos, your light ain't right. You know, you missed a word. You were supposed to say this and you said that, and they watch the videos anyway, and they take the time to comment anyway. And that's what drives me to do what I do. And also the diversity. I love the fact that we have people of different ages, you know, different backgrounds. That's what I like. You know, I would love to have more females on the panel, but I'm not really looking for all female panel. I'm just looking for more diversity in the panel. However that comes, whether it's race, gender, sexual identity, well, it doesn't matter to me. Sexual orientation, it doesn't matter to me. Just the diversity. I think that's what drives me in this community, and differences of thought. You know, Tony, I'm sorry. You know, people think different. You know, when I first got on, you know, to your point, Hartwell, I was like, what? Wow. Like, I just couldn't fathom that. Yeah. Like, some people's takes at that time anyway, was just far out. But up to this point, you know, you rocking with your friends and y'all might think a little different. But when you on the panels and you in the chat, you have a wider range of views and takes on the Knicks. And after a while, Hartwell, I was the same way. I think I'm calmer now. You just get to the point where you just like, all right. I mean, that's how they see it. Yeah. I don't see it that way, but it's okay. I don't have to comment on everything, and I don't have to use my energy. You know, I'm very selective now about how I use my energy and where I use my energy. But yeah, that's what drives me, just living beyond boundaries, diversity, and community.
That's what I tell people. We passionate, so we may catch ourselves arguing with people over the smallest things. So we can't feed into everything. I just be like, okay.
And those days, nothing but Knicks. Probably like a year or so ago, me and Josh used to go at it. Oh, I used to go at it with Josh. He was real respectful, but I was like, oh my, I can't. I just don't. I just don't get it.
Me and Josh go at it all the time. It's a fact.
No, but Tony, you wanted
that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of it.
If you have to argue with Josh or G-Mo, you know what I'm saying, then you ain't been in the community long enough.
Long enough.
You don't got enough panel hours.
Now I don't. Now I'll be like, all right, okay, Josh.
Right.
All right, Fulio. Nephew Fulio, I call him. All right, nephew. You got it. Because he know his stuff. You don't agree. Yo, he know his stuff. You got it. All right. All right. I agree to disagree. You know what I'm saying?
Tony, you wanted to
I was
this point.
I was hoping you left out the diversity or the difference of opinions, because I think that is one of the best parts of what we all do. You know what I mean? Especially when we have these panels, everybody doesn't agree. It was a long time where you and I were always on opposite sides of the spectrum on what we thought, and then it just seemed like over time, with the crossover. Now we just start thinking the same way.
Right. We gotta have a different point.
But that's also I mean, so everything you guys said are all key reasons of, you know, what keeps me going. I'm a definitely admit my quality is still on the lower spectrum, but it's coming. The upgrades are coming. They all are work in progress. So that will come. And then the chat, the chat, there's nothing. I check every morning for comments. You know what I mean? Because I love to respond to the comments.
Right.
I love, like, I know when I'm live, I'm focused on the panel, so it's hard for me to kind of get every single comment or shout out everybody that's in the chat. It's always love. It's always salute to you guys. but afterwards, you know, the people who watch the replays, you know, I make sure that I comment or respond to every single one of them. You know what I mean? Even if it's just a heart and a like, you know, I read the comment. You know what I mean? But most of the time, I'm putting something directly, a direct response to whatever you said. And most of the time it's appreciate you because that's what it is. I appreciate you guys for you know, coming on, watching, spending your time, and then actually reading the comment and knowing that you all right, you watched it. You know what I mean? Like, because you're responding directly to something I said, or directly to something Queen said, or directly to something, you know, one of the panelists said. So I think that's what really gets me going. It gets me going not only to do the next video, but it gets me going in the morning. You know what I mean? Because that's what I do. I wake up in the morning and I'll be like, all right, let me see if I got any comments I got to respond to. Sometimes I you know, I get ideas off of the comments, or they give me suggestions on what to talk about. I even love when the chat doesn't agree with what I said, and they express it, because it helps. It's like critical theory or critical thinking. You know what I mean? If we're all agreeing and we're all saying the same thing, then what's the point of us even talking about it? You know what I mean? It's always best to talk to the people that you don't agree with and kind of get their side, their opinion, and then maybe an understanding of why they think the way they think. And who knows, it may alter your own opinion. You know, I always say that with more information, you know, your opinion is going to change.
Absolutely.
So, but yeah, it's definitely you guys, the panelists, the chat, and then the Knicks themselves. I mean, this is the team that I've followed since I was a kid. Never liked another team. When it got real bad, I you know, I poked my chest out and I dealt with my surroundings, as far as my friends who weren't Knicks fans, my family who weren't Knicks fans or used to be and stopped being. You know what I mean? So I'm a diehard like Eru. I'm still a Knicks fan like Ron. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna stay a Knicks fan, and I'm gonna keep giving my opinion, whether it's on you guys' show or my own.
All right. Last question before we get out of here. And if you didn't get a chance to answer the previous question, you can do that as well. What's your vision for this space overall, or your channel in particular? And if you just want to speak to your channel in particular, that's fine too. What's your vision for it? Let's go around this way, because when I don't do it in order, I think I miss people. So I'm gonna start with Hartwell, and then I'm gonna come around. What's your vision for your channel?
Well, my vision is for it to keep growing and just keep learning, like what Tony said, you know, from people in the chat, people chiming in. Like, we had somebody last week tell me that my energy wasn't there, and I realized that I was tired that day and I wasn't upbeat like I normally am. And when I talked to my co-host about it, I said, we can't be upset. We just got to make sure we don't let this happen again. He was talking about some other stuff that happened. So basically, in a nutshell, the point is, I try to make sure now, off of what he said, when I do a show again, I'm not going to look tired, even if I am tired. I'm going to make sure you can't tell I'm tired if I am tired, because I'm not here to look tired if you're watching me and you want to hear what I got to say. So from that little critique and that comment, it motivated me to make sure if I am tired, don't look tired. You know what I'm saying? And if your camera's off, sound like you got mad energy. And when you put it back on, you better look like you up. So it's a lot of things that I'm learning and that I'm growing to appreciate, you know, when people watch and they start to say Hardwell, and people comment in chat, they showing love. So that makes me want to give them a great show, bring people on the panel and have a great discussion to make them want to come back. All that stuff drives me. When I seen you invited me to come and discuss new media and stuff like that, that motivated me a lot too. You know, when I see you guys show, you know, like I mentioned, Eru and State, when they argue, like me and L, all that stuff motivate me, because we from different elements and walks of life. You know what I mean? So just to see people like me or people like us or people that's not like me, you know, it just motivate me to keep going, to make people want to come and see what's up with us, just as well as I want to go and see what's up with Sim or Ron or you, Queen, or even Tony. All of y'all up here, I want to go see what's going on. If I can't catch every show because I'll be coaching or I'll be training,
right?
You know, sometimes I don't comment because y'all in my ear. So, you know, my point is you guys motivate me. And I appreciate y'all for doing what y'all do. And I just hope we all could continue to motivate each other. You know, let me motivate you. If I'm coming from behind doing well, you can say, look at Hard Will. He figuring it out. You know what I'm saying? And I tell y'all motivated me. And that's honest to God truth. You know what I mean? I be there and I don't always say something. But from now on, I'm going to make sure I comment in the chat every time so y'all can know I'm there. I'm not going to be like a ghost just listening, because sometimes we do. And Sim, if you in our chat anytime or you there, please say something, you know what I'm saying? Or come and pull up. And I'm going to definitely pull up on your show, Queen, to show love. Yeah, and Tony, definitely. I'm going to definitely pull up on the panel and show love. And like I said, my last point is that the fans and the people that I meet motivate me. The people that critique and say what they don't like, I try to come back and be a better version of myself. And, you know, I've always been a businessman. So, you know, even though I may sound aggressive sometimes, that's just because I'm very passionate. I love basketball a lot. So don't confuse that with me not being very cool. I'm very friendly, very approachable. You know, don't be intimidated by the voice and aggression. And that's all I wanted to say, all right? I'm very friendly, okay? That's why my name is Hard Will. William and Jihad. You know what I mean? My parents call me Jihad. My real name is William. You know what I'm saying? I'm both of those guys. And that's all I wanted to say.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's it.
Eru, your vision for your channel?
Like I said, I don't have no vision. I have nothing. I just kind of like pew 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 going into the seat of my pants, you know. But you know, just you know, for my life, I work for the city. You know, I work 12 hours a day. I got two little guys. One is 6, one is 8. You know, I'm married. So you know, the time don't stop. A lot of times I don't sleep. 4 hours of sleep sometimes. And somewhere along the line, I do a podcast. You know, sometimes I'll be on here 2 hours, 3 hours sometimes, you know, talking to strangers, you know, when I should be spending time with my family or whatever. So, you know, I don't pay attention to the subscribers. You know, I don't, to tell you the truth, I don't watch any of your shows. You know, sometimes I might pop in, you know, I get in the comments and I start, you know, fooling around if I happen to be sitting at my desk or whatever, you know, but everything for me is an energy. And what drives me to keep going is that like I still feel alive. That do the 12 hours at work it drains me. I get home, I want to get home so fast. You know, I see my kids and stuff like that. Sometimes I gotta discipline them because I'm the father. You know, I gotta come in and discipline them. You know, my wife got her things going on. You know, and then I come here and then somehow the energy still just cooks in. It just like whoop, the energy just pops in. You know, it's just. You know, so you know, for me, you know, just what drives me or what the vision for this, I really don't have it, man. You know, the whatever the energy you know, compels me to do, that's what I'll do. You know, I'm compelled to do a couple things, you know, to with the channel going forward, and we'll just see how it goes. I don't really know if anybody's gonna feel it. I mess up my algorithms all the time. You know, like sometimes I'll have like a episode that's like 5,000 views, and then the next one is like 200 or 50 views, whatever, because I totally screw up the algorithm because I'm just kind of just pew, 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 pew. You know, I'm not really doing anything, you know, whatever. But you know, I just feel my energy, my spirit or whatever, and just everything that I'm about. It just happens to you know, to move along positively, man. So I mean, you know, I'm close to 2,000 subscribers, man. So if anybody's watching, hit the freaking subscribe button so I can get over 2,000. Because I think I've been stressing out about that for a minute. I've been stuck at like 1,990 something for like the longest. So I just need like a couple more subscribers, then I could chill out. But you know,
all the links to the subscribers.
Please go subscribe now. Go subscribe now.
The link is in the description.
I got you, Eru. I'm gonna unsubscribe and I'm gonna subscribe again. That'll do
it. Eru, I'm telling you, every time you get to like where you get ready to go to another plateau, it's gonna seem like it's stuck right there.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? You're like, damn, is it gonna get there or not? You know, right. It's always gonna seem like that.
Yeah.
And somebody
Ron?
crashed our channel. Somebody crashed our channel with pornography when we had like 300 when we first started. So we started over. We would have probably been close to 700-800 by now. But
You're
guess
not
what?
the only one.
We
I
even
got
better now. We even better now, and it's all good.
I got attacked a couple times. Guys were like trolling my channel and were like kind of like ruining stuff, whatever. So I mean, it happens.
Right.
Ron, your vision for your channel?
Yeah, and damn, I'm glad you got a chance to mention that, Hardwell. I think that you should have mentioned that before, because everything that you've done with your channel and how you guys are trying to grow, that's a big hiccup, for people, and mentally it's tough to deal with. Imagine getting your channel to over 300 subscribers, you're feeling good about it, and then your whole channel gets removed and you got to start over again. Now you're right back at 300 again and you go into 400, but the point is just to have to go through that and keep going. Right. That's why I appreciate you and Worldwide L, man. Keep doing your thing, man.
Appreciate you too. Thanks, Ron. Appreciate you, bro.
No doubt, no doubt. So I guess the vision for me is just for us to continue to grow and give more and more content that people enjoy. Like I said, I think I don't have a benchmark or anything, but it sounds weird, but it's not about the subscribers. Like, I would love for Still Knick fans to get to 100,000 subscribers. And it's not about the 100,000. It's about the reach. Right. It's about being able to hit as many people as possible so that I can say, damn it, man, I put my mind to something and I really did it and people enjoy it. And that would be like the biggest accomplishment. Like, you're young, you go to school, they say you could grow up, you could be this, you could be that. How many people become what they thought they wanted to be or what their parents envisioned for them? It's very tough. Mm-hmm. And me, I was supposed to be a lot of things, but it didn't turn out that way. But I'm happy that I have a beautiful family, beautiful son, beautiful wife, and I've got great friends. And now I have a great Knick community that I'm a part of. So I'm happy about everything that's been bestowed upon me. And, I just want us to be able to bring it to a level where we've made a dent. Like, we can just say, we can hang our hat and, hey, we did this. It was a beautiful thing. It worked out good. And we made an imprint. We made a mark. Because my whole thing is, as much as you see the numbers that some of our community members have and how we're growing and how some people are, at this point, there's so many more people out there that are Knick fans that aren't subscribed, that aren't tuning into all this content. But if you click on another YouTube type of content, people, throwing up all types of signs, doing stupid stuff, pranks. They've got millions, 2 million subscribers. And it's like, it's entertainment. Don't get me wrong. And I understand that that's what people want to be entertained. But there's plenty of people that watch these teams. The teams make all types of money. So there's people who are fans. I just want the reach to be like that for everybody. I want us to be able to all have that type of reach so that, people are buying in. That's my whole thing. That's pretty much it.
Before I get to some, I'm gonna say this real quick. We don't have enough time to get to this question, but that was one of my questions. How do we expand our reach beyond YouTube? And I don't mean by creating content not on YouTube, but there are millions of Knick fans that are not on YouTube, that are not even aware of YouTube. I'll talk to a fan and I'll say, well, do you talk about my channel MBK, and they didn't know it existed. They don't even know. So, a lot of times, those who come to YouTube, they'll find us, but there are Knick fans not on YouTube. And how do we reach them and let them know that there is alternate or additional content on the Knicks right here on YouTube? They're not aware.
Right.
Yeah. Sam, your vision?
Yeah. Well, I got a lot of little goals. We talk about, things all the time, but my overall vision is to really just keep growing the community. Mm-hmm. Right. That's really my overall vision, grow the community. Some of the ways that I want to do that is like the in-person podcast. Mm-hmm. I really, really enjoy doing those in-person podcasts. Obviously I'm in Maryland, so it's hard to do it. all the time. I mean, there are Knicks fans here, but I like being able to get, get the creators together as well, to be part of it. But, figuring out how to, grow that in-person live portion of the podcast and still keep the quality high and, doing it that way. Cause I think, there's a space there where you can podcast, but now instead of people being in the chat, your chat is there with you. You know what I'm saying? In person, and when everybody gets a chance to meet each other, hang out, chill, and do things beyond that. I also, recognize, I mean, this, like you said, there's Knicks fans everywhere, right? So one thing that I've worked on even before the pandemic, then the pandemic kind of, put a hold on it, was like having ambassadors and became ambassadors in different states. I have a few of them, Philly. I mean, I'm in DC, so, me in DC, North Carolina, Atlanta, Miami, like those are some areas right there, boom, that there's Knicks fans, because, that's where everybody moves to. You know what I mean? So finding ways to have like NBK ambassadors in those areas, and then they can do live events in those areas. They can go and do, games in those areas and stuff like that. When we can, we travel to those areas, and like I'll travel to those areas, Steph, Tony, whoever, everybody that's, part of NBK fam is able to travel there. Maybe we travel there and we do some live podcasts in there and stuff like that. So, that's kind of where I'm looking and trying to build it out to. And then, I have some ideas on some other content that is Knick related, basketball related, not just Knick related, but
Right.
New York basketball related as well.
Right.
Documentary style stuff. And then some alternative type of Knick content as well. You know what I mean? That, we talk about all the time, skits and things like that. So, I have like a board with all this stuff written down.
Okay.
Because when I get ideas, I'll lose it. So I got to write it down somewhere, somehow.
Like a vision board. That's a dope idea, though.
Yeah. Tony?
So for me personally, with Knicks and Bruises, it's really about the upgrade. You know what I mean? It's really about upgrading like the background, getting more computer literacy, and learning how to, I'm still working on the slides. Thank God my daughter helps me out when she can. So it's really about just becoming more self-sufficient. And that's really it for me. And then just to stay consistent. I'm gonna shout you out against him, and it's gonna be a couple things. So you know what I mean. But one of the main things he always told me is consistency. So that set day, that set time, that changed things for me. Things turned around as far as the viewership, the subscribers, the interaction, because they know Monday 6:30 ish, Knicks and Bruises. They know right after that Queen's Court. You know what I mean? And that consistency really changed that. So I think I hit a stride there. I just want to continue that and just slow grind. I've never had a problem with a slow grind. So I'm gonna keep doing the slow grind here and see where it takes me. But MBK fam, MBK network, me and Sim, we talked about this before there were any other affiliates. You know what I mean? I didn't have a channel. So to watch the growth of something, like we just chopped it up and it'd be cool if we get like a bunch of podcasters, and you know what I mean? So we talked about 24 hours worth of streaming of live podcasters because we got that many people that's part of the family. So just watching the growth of the MBK fam, like really, I just want to see this movement continue and get bigger. Like Sim just mentioned, the
Hey Tony, don't be saying too much. All right.
I almost slipped up too.
Sim sitting there like, I know we ain't gonna tell the business. Oh, he froze. Look.
He froze. See? Teasing. He froze right there.
Oh, he froze right on time.
Sim dropped the bomb on him. That's what happened.
Sim George pushed the button.
He hit the button on him.
All right. I will let him.
Somebody do a wellness check.
Classic.
He need a wellness check. Lord have mercy.
And then I'm gonna bring him back. I would say that my vision for Dope Soul is twofold. One, to continue the partnership with NBK, and that for us to remain a community and continue to grow the network and continue to do, to engage the fan. So Sim, as you was talking, I was thinking about the viewing party we did at Legends and we did the podcast. Same thing. We're gonna be in Boston for the Knick game. We're gonna do a live podcast viewing party there. We're gonna be in, wherever, we're gonna be, and we're gonna do a viewing party there. So just really, increasing, keeping that relationship strong, and reaching out to the fans. That's definitely one goal of my channel. I think the other part of it is to do, I don't know if you want to, I guess, alternate content, like this, sport and society, issues that may not be about the Knicks per se and how they're playing and the coaching staff, but it's related to the Knicks or it's related to sports. I want to do a quarterly Knick review. So looking for, a co-host that every 20 games, we're going to come on and do a quarterly review of the Knicks. In the off season, do some Knick leisure stuff, like what are the Knick players doing in the off season? Things of that sort. Yeah. And I'm always thinking and being creative and just having the opportunity to bring it on the show like this. If it works and people like it, I'll do another one. If not, that's the end of that, So just really looking to create content that's I connect with. I think we do a lot of stuff on Sim Channel on Nothing But Knicks, talking about the Knicks, and that's great. But really trying to find other ways to collaborate with other content creators and to create other content that's not solely Knick related. And I don't really know what that is, man. I guess as time goes along, I'll get those ideas.
And Steph, I kind of pigeonholed myself with my name. You know what I'm saying? Because it's nothing but Knicks. So anytime I do anything outside of that, people, the chat is gonna hold you accountable. They're like, wait a minute, this is nothing but Knicks.
Right.
You're supposed to be talking about that. I'm like, all right. But I did want to, I guess this is just for everybody, really, probably. But don't be afraid to take chances. That's one thing I've always tried to do is, take chances. And, I think I seen Kevin Bergen in the chat. He said he remembers when I tried doing a 24-hour channel. Mm-hmm. Right. And I had it going 24 hours, but YouTube said that it was basically said I was scamming or something like that. So, I had to take it down at one. I thought it was a good idea with the way that I wanted to grow it. I thought, it could work. It started off, it had a few shows that was repeating, right? And then, as I got more people in the whole network, I was gonna say, well, let's, we'll put the show on there and, we'll do it that way. But now, so many podcasts out there, it's not 24 hours anyway. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then, and one time I tried, back inside YouTube, there used to be a way where you can on the same video. All right. So you had this stream going here, right? And then down at the bottom of the video, there would be another link, like a little link or something like that. And it would click where you could have like a second camera or even a whole second video going. And so what was happening is I was using I forgot the platform, but when I was using the platform, like if me and you were having a conversation, Steph, in the background, Hardwell, Ron, and Eru, they could be having their own conversation in the background. Right. And so what I was doing is I would have the main show in one, and then I would have like where people could click on that button and go hear what people are talking about in the background. That was a little bit more raw in the background.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I just took the chance to try to get it done, and then YouTube took that feature away. You know what I'm saying? You know, but you know, just taking chances, you know what I mean? Regard, you know, and sometimes a chance you might take a chance and it don't work out, and people are like, yo, what are they doing over there? But I think when you take chances, that's what leads to some of the greater content, you know, because you know, every once in a while, you're gonna take a chance and it's gonna hit. And it's gonna be successful. You know, you might fail a bunch of times with some of those chances, you know, but you know, but you're gonna find the ones that hit and then you keep it.
Right. Yeah, that's actually a good point. I do remember that 24-hour channel. I thought that was a great idea, actually. Maybe if you could figure out, well, they don't have that option. Maybe it was the whole monetization thing, like you have it going to
exactly what it was, you know, because you know with YouTube it's hard to get someone to really be able to explain it to you, like why was this fraud, you know?
Right.
I guess because it was a live stream, but the shows weren't live, right? They were reruns. You know what I mean? So I guess they consider that fraudulent or whatever.
Okay, maybe. Well, this has been fun and enlightening. I appreciate all of you for rocking with me. Any last words before we get out of here?
Dope show. Thanks for having me. Dope
definitely.
show.
Yeah, I really appreciate you for having me on, man. This was definitely dope.
I don't think anybody would have came on until you said you was coming. Then everybody said, all right, I'm gonna come.
That's not true. I said yeah right away. And Eru said yeah right away. Just like me. I'm down. I'm down.
Yeah, I can't say no to Steph, man. She asked me for something. I'm like, yep.
Yeah, I was already in the concept phase, so you know I was gonna be.
Yeah, that's true. We talked about it.
If you don't have an idea, maybe you could do that again. Maybe often bring certain podcasters just to go on the show with you, so we could join the panel and discuss different topics instead of talking about us. We could talk about the sports issues that we all like to discuss. Because I seen people saying, "Oh, fire panel, fire panel."
Right.
So you think about it, you could have a fire panel and just talk regular Knicks stuff, and that'll be a fire show too.
Yeah, definitely. No doubt about it. I was hoping to do like a show like this on sport related stuff once a month. I'll see. Sometimes it's hard to come up with a topic. Sometimes it's hard to come up with a topic. Like, what am I going to talk about? That's not the Knicks, but related to sports. Yeah. But anyway, I appreciate you for rocking, all of you for rocking with me. And I love all your content. And I listen to it. I don't always comment, but I do listen. So I appreciate it. And we are out of here.